How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the show. Oh my God, I'm wearing a different shirt.
You had to say it.
I had to because I knew the chat was immediately gonna go. Ah!
You didn't think people would notice if you didn't say something right away?
What? I wanted to say it before they noticed.
Oh, you wanted to get ahead of it.
Yep. Because they're gonna have their phones on and they're not gonna be paying attention, and they're gonna come back in like 10 minutes after and look and like hit the like button or something and then go, wait a minute.
Who's this guy?
If they're
Wearing
watching on their
different
phone, do you think they might be like,
Look at 'em. Look at
it's
'em
a
all.
gold shirt? No, it's a blue shirt.
shirt.
Oh my gosh, no.
It's black and gold.
No.
It'll be the
Can't
new dress.
handle it. No, I
Donald-
hope not.
No? Okay.
Donald-
I hope not.
This is what we're talking about.
Yes, this is the
It's
most
my
important
fault.
thing.
Anything else?
It's my fault. Before we started the show, like before we just went live, like everyone's freaking out. Adam was like, what are we talking about today? Oh, Trump just called in the armed forces, like armed soldiers, I guess, into D.C. and is threatening to send out soldiers, the military nationwide. I guess that would be like the Insurrection Act. And then Adam was like, but people are just going to talk about your shirt.
Yeah.
It's different.
It's
a
different.
different
It's
color.
so different.
It's different.
It's distracting
He has
me,
other
man.
clothes.
Yeah. Oh,
God,
man.
other
I don't know
clothes.
what
I
to
can't.
do with this.
I now have several different colored shirts.
He does.
Wow.
They're very nice.
Yeah. I think
Good for you,
this
man.
is like the same shirt as the black one, but it's...
Way to branch out.
What color is this even?
Teal.
Teal? Is that what it is? Huh.
I would have said blue.
It's
Well,
greenish. Yeah. It's
I'm
greenish
glad
blue.
that we're talking about fashion while the world burns, because as we're chatting
Indeed.
in Philly, there's this viral video going around where people were apparently on this like small path trapped,
Okay.
and the cops launched tear gas into it, and everyone's just freaking out. I roll my eyes at this stuff, man. It's like, what did you seen Fight Club?
Yeah.
It reminds me of that scene when they bring in Robert Paulson and he's dead.
Yeah.
And he's like, you idiots, you're running around blowing things up. What did you think was going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
His name is Robert Paulson.
Yeah, his name was Robert
Yeah,
Paulson.
his name was, yeah.
And that's what I'm seeing all this stuff and I'm like, man, what did you guys think was going to happen? Not the protesters. The protesters I like, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You saw that DC video where they catch the guy?
Yeah.
That was awesome.
That was awesome.
Because they're chilling.
Yep.
They're like, hey, we're locking things down. We're mad. And it's like, respect.
Mm-hmm.
And the Antifa guys shows up and they're like, nah.
He's just using a hammer. He was just hitting, I think, just a curb, trying to break the bricks.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, they tackled him, threw him down. Someone else pulled the hammer away, and they just brought him over to the cops. My favorite thing about this, though, is not that they brought him to him, is that the guy who tackled him, all right, he held on to him, and they hustled him over to the cops. The cops grabbed both of them, okay? And the cop pulled him aside and said, you can't really hear what he was saying, but he's obviously like, you brought him to us. And
Yeah.
you see the guy go, yes,
Right.
I brought him to him. And the cop was like, all right. And he pushed him out of the line.
Yeah, dude.
And I was like, yes.
Yes.
I
That's
got
what
scared.
I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I got scared.
justice.
Right.
I saw the video and the cop grabs them both and I'm like, no, that's the guy
no.
who stopped him.
Yep, I know.
And then the cops pick him up and then he does like, he like wiggles his finger or something and then nods and then the guy walks right out and I'm like, yeah.
Yep.
Freedom.
Victory.
And then there was the video of the cop holding there's a couple cops holding protesters and crying. You seen that one? You see
Yeah.
that stuff? That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then there's the Flint sheriff took off his helmet and he's like, what do you want to do? And they're like, march with us. He's like, let's do it. I'm like, that is cool.
That's
Yep.
very cool. Yeah.
It's cool because you have these big cities where the cops treat the protesters immediately as like adversarial. But you know what the thing is about these videos we see they're all heartwarming is that they're in smaller areas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not in big cities.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it's possible. I think what we're learning right now is that cities can only be so big. That might be it.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, because I sent a tweet, where do we go from here? And I think that's a huge question on everyone's minds, really, because everyone seems to have a specific answer that doesn't work for anyone else. And I'm reading all these different things, and I'm just thinking to myself, it's like, we need to spread out more. We can't be in cities.
Yeah.
We need to grow food. We need to kind of get back to some roots.
Could you imagine if every house had solar panels and their own food in their backyard?
Yeah, it'd be dope.
It would be so ridiculously efficient.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could actually do trade between, like, it would also bring back a little bit of barter. Because, like, let's say we grow a sheath of wheat.
Oh,
You can
yeah.
walk next door and be like, hey, you got watermelons, I got wheat.
Yep.
Yeah. We
Yeah,
switch.
yeah.
Trade. And so you'd still have regular commerce. People would be more self-sufficient.
Yeah.
Right now, it's people crammed on top of each other in concrete blocks.
Yeah,
Everything
it's-
smells like sour milk.
And the problem with that is you have to pay others for services. And the government essentially runs it all. That you have to pay for food. You have to rely on others for everything. Like I lived in New York, I couldn't you can't live in New York without relying on everyone else for anything else that you need. Food, water, everything. You need to rely on others.
Exactly.
And that's a problem.
Unless you're rich. Then you got like a rooftop with a garden on top, you know?
Yeah. But that how many people can say that? Not many people.
Not even the 1%, because even the people who are rich don't get the penthouse suite,
But even them, they still have to pay for water and food.
Right.
It still exists.
Well, I was going to say, you can grow the food, but pumping the water to the top of that building.
I actually had a
buildings,
garden in New York, and I found out about all the airports and all the dirty air seeps into the dirt. That's not healthy food anyway.
Yeah, man.
I ended up not even eating the food because as I was like learning how to make a garden in New York, I realized how gross it was. And I'm like, all right, this is probably not a good idea.
All right, well, we're getting started. We got a bunch to go through. I mean, look, Trump's designated Antifa terrorists.
Yeah,
so
that's huge.
But I don't think it's going to be a formal designation. It's that, my understanding so far, they're going to prosecute these as individual acts of terror.
Okay.
And it's so okay. We'll get into this, right? Because it's silly how people are saying they're not terrorists, they're not a real group. It's like, no, but they're literally individual terrorists.
Yeah.
Like adhering to an ideology. So we'll talk about that. Trump is going to send heavily armed soldiers to D.C. We mentioned that. The best part, apparently, and the local news outlet, the local CBS doesn't want to say this. Some parents turned in an Antifa rioter. The cops were looking for him. They knew who he was.
Oh, really?
And what they said was he arrived with two unnamed individuals, an adult male and adult female, whatever. It's like, dude, come on. Mom and dad turned him in. We know what happened. Mommy and daddy turned him in. These kids. That's what this is. Did you see the picture of the woman who threw the Molotov?
No.
She's like a tiny little white woman, 5'7" or whatever, or not 5'7", like 5'4" or something.
Yeah.
27. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
And then there was the lawyer woman. It's like, these people have just ended their lives. Isn't that crazy? Because they saw some meme on the internet. That's what it is.
Yep.
Oh man, there's so much we got to get through here.
Yeah, there's a
All
lot.
right.
This is so much has happened. I feel like
Seriously,
this weekend was so long.
It was kind of busy, yeah.
Smash the
long
like
weekend.
button.
Jeez, yeah.
Smash it.
Yes, like it.
Unless you're on your phone.
Smash it.
Unless you're on your
Smash
phone.
that like
Wait,
button.
hold on.
No. Even if you're on your phone, smash that like button.
All right.
Do it.
I was gonna say give it a little tap. Just a little
tap.
Boop.
All
Unless
right.
you're driving.
There's a
then wait.
range of smash levels. Choose your level and have at it, but
Choose
make
your
sure you smash it.
Appropriate
And if you would
range.
like to hop in the super chat to have your comments read, we'll do our best to read through as many as we can. And last time we did. We got through all of them.
Yeah, we did.
We did. Yeah, we've been
So-
going over almost every
Yeah.
episode for
I
like
think,
2 weeks now.
I think so
Good.
long as we like keep the first hour to the stories and the next hour to like super chats, everything's fine. It's when we just ramble on for another half an hour. And then,
Yes.
Yeah.
can't get through everything. But it also, look, to be honest, just so you guys know, before you get in the super chat, there will come a point where we have too many viewers and it literally can be physically impossible to read every single super chat because they come in faster than we can actually read them. And then it's kind of just, speed reading and ignoring them. So it's almost
Yeah.
pointless. But I think the first one we need to address is this story from the Daily Mail.
Yeah,
So,
let's talk about it.
Donald, well, I mean, it's not necessarily about the Daily Mail. It's just about Trump. He gave a speech. He went to the Rose Garden. Donald Trump says, "I am your law and order president." Orders heavily armed soldiers to D.C. and threatens to deploy military nationwide. Then has protesters tear gassed outside White House so he can walk to a fire-damaged church and brandish a Bible.
That's quite the headline.
I love how the media frames things.
Wow, that's a lot. There's
Okay.
a lot going on there.
He
Break it
had
down
them.
for us.
He had them gassed. He did. Trump was like, "I want all these people tear gassed. Do it. I want a picture of the church." No. Just, you know what? You don't know who did it. That's what I can't stand about the media. It's gonna come up every single time we read stories like this.
This is like, honestly, it's not just this. It's everything. Everyone's now posting, "This is Trump's America. This is what you get when you have Trump." And it's like, it's all the Democrat states. They're the
And
ones.
cities.
They're the ones who let out all the criminals like a month ago,
Right.
from COVID, and we're arresting regular people for walking around. It's like, what is going on? And then they're paying their bail. Like, how is that?
Biden.
How is it on Trump? I don't get it.
Exactly.
It's
Well, we'll
really kinda odd.
put a pin in that.
Yeah, I will.
We're gonna come back to each of those points. Those are
My
huge.
goodness, yeah.
But take a look at this. Right.
Yeah.
They say then has protesters tear gassed outside the White House so he can walk to a fire-damaged church and brandish a Bible. That is called framing, my friends.
Yeah, wow,
How about I frame that for you in a
that's
beneficial
amazing.
light? Donald Trump, orders soldiers to defend Washington, D.C. from violent riots, defends local residents, and surveys the damage on a church to assure Americans that the church still stands.
Historical church.
Framing. How about we tell you what actually happened? Protesters in front of the White House were dispersed with tear gas and police. Donald Trump took a photograph and checked out the church. It doesn't got to be positive or negative. You just tell them what happened. If you want to frame it beneficially or otherwise. But let's be fair, man. Donald Trump had to go to the church. Okay, this is ridiculous. BuzzFeed writes the same thing. Do I have this from? I think I have this thing from
Let's see, they're
BuzzFeed.
framing. Curious.
What is it? Peaceful protesters were
my
gassed
goodness.
outside the White House so Trump could get a photo op at a church. There's no winning. I mean, for the most part, outside, I think so. But when they're ordered to disperse and they wouldn't, you could argue they were no longer peaceful. You know what I mean? Like the cops were like, move back, and then they didn't, and then tear gas went flying. But that's not the issue for me. The issue for me is that St. John's Church was set on fire by these rioters. And people were freaking out, rightly so. St. John's Church isn't just a church for Christians. It is an American national monument. It is a historical site. It is like, that's like stamped, boom, on the front.
Yeah.
This is where all the presidents, I think except Nixon, or not all of them because it was built in like 1807 or something, but all presidents pray there. Trump is going there, in my opinion, and this, again, just my opinion, because the American people are probably scared. What happened to our church? This is the president's church across from the White House. So Trump went there, took a picture in front of it. Why? That picture shows America that the church still stands, that a national monument was not destroyed, despite all the reports you saw yesterday about it being up in flames. Fox News went in there and you could see the flames billowing up, and they put the fire out. And now Trump is standing there showing he's in control. The church is fine. And there it is.
Yeah.
The media doesn't want to tell you that, though. The media wants to tell you that he's just gassing people for no reason.
Everything's his fault.
Everything's his fault. Well, let's talk about that. Let's pull the pin out of what you just mentioned.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I got to say, I tweet and I because you guys are constantly giving me stories, I asked this weekend, I'm like, where do we go from here? And, what do you think of Trump labeling Antifa terrorists? And I'm getting all different sides of this story. I'm seeing it from many different people. And one thing I've noticed is there's a lot of people blaming Trump with no substance. I'm seeing a lot of things that don't really make sense. The whole Obamagate, all of a sudden now no one's thinking about Obamagate. It was seriously damning for Biden. He said some crazy racist things. If you ain't black, you're not voting, or if you're not voting for him.
Biden was implicated in unmasking Michael Flynn.
Right.
And the day his name got leaked.
He gets implicated in the whole Obamagate thing.
Then that story's gone. And then because he said you ain't black.
Yeah, he's gone. It's just like, now everyone's just, it's all about riot. It's all about, racist, everything. Yeah, it's really interesting that.
Well, so check it out.
I'm trying to break it all down. There's so much, going on.
First, the prisons. All right.
Right, the prisons.
So there's a video from I did a segment on it. This rioter, he's a looter, was caught. They were looting some building.
Right.
His buddies, everybody jump out and get in the car, and he was too slow, so they speed off. He gets arrested. So he's asked, "Why are you doing this?" And he goes, "Man, I just wanted the money." And he was like, "Is this anything to do with the George Floyd protests?" And he goes, "I mean, a little bit, but if I'm going to be honest, nah, I just wanted the money." It's like, there it is.
Yep.
So let me ask you a question. All these prisons that released all these prisoners for COVID.
Yeah.
And then had to rearrest a lot of these people.
Or attempting to.
Right. Is it possible? I don't know, because we haven't.
I'll say it, because this is what I was thinking. That they were losing. The Democrats are in a corner. They have got Biden, Sleepy Joe. They're like,
Sleepy.
oh man, what are we gonna do? We got to figure out some way to blame Trump for something. Release all these criminals. All right, now that no one has these jobs, we're gonna shine a huge spotlight on the next thing that happens, and
Put it up on all the press.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, the protesters are, the overwhelming majority are peaceful.
Yeah.
Until the riot starts, and then everyone just goes nuts.
Right. Well, what's starting the riots? That's the thing.
Criminals.
No, it's absolutely, yes. They're definitely criminals.
Right.
Yeah, of course. But it's not.
That was broad.
It's not the protesters though. The people that are walking peacefully protesting aren't the ones that are. Yeah. It's a slippery slope here.
Fine line.
Yeah. It's like they are angry, rightly so. Right. Every single video I've seen of rioters starting things it's not the protesters. It's far left activists. And I'm not saying anything about race. Yes, it plays a huge part in that. But I'm seeing like Antifa starting these things. It's like that's not the protesters. Those aren't the people that are angry about George Floyd.
Right.
That's the key.
And this is crazy. There's the like their manifesto kind of going around. It's their membership. What do you call it? It's like how to form an Antifa group.
Okay.
Manual, and it specifically says to pretend to be Black Lives Matter.
Right.
Because liberals don't like you, and so you see these videos from actual Black Lives Matter activists, and like there's one that's going viral where it's 2 white women tagging BLM.
I saw that.
And, and there's a black woman who she's like, "What are you doing? We're going to get blamed for this."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it."
I saw that video.
Or there's the video where the black woman has the brick and she walks up to the car and she goes,
Oh, yeah.
"Why did you just give a bunch of young black men a brick? Are you crazy?" And she's like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And she gives her the brick
and
back.
she's got the camera on the car, and it's full of white kids.
Yep.
White people.
Antifa.
It's like, what are you doing?
Being
Like,
Antifa.
Right. They're
Well, so-
inciting this stuff.
So
They're-
let's
painting the
I wanna-
picture wrong.
We got to walk through that list you had in the beginning.
I know. There's so much.
They let the prisoners out.
Right.
Then they say, "Shut your business down."
Yep.
This is,
40
what, man?
million people lose their jobs.
Well, here's I have this saying that I tell people: how many coincidences until you've won the lottery?
Yeah.
Was it 5 or 6? Let's talk Mega Millions, right? Powerball. It's like 6 numbers, I think, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, 6 numbers, and let's 1 through 70. Like, what are the numbers? 72, 99, or something?
I've
That's
never
huge.
played. I have no
Yeah,
idea.
No idea.
The
yeah.
chance you win the lottery, it's astronomical.
Yeah.
Sometimes people win the lottery. The point I'm making with that is, how many coincidences until you're like, come on, man, did we just win the lottery? So look, this is where it makes me question things. But of course, I don't make decisions or I don't act upon assumptions unless I have hard evidence.
Yeah.
Or I don't act on assumptions. I need hard evidence. So what I see is the Democrats tell everyone to shut their businesses down. They do.
Yep.
So what happens? Perishable goods gone. Within a few weeks, all those goods are gone, and any restaurant that wants to reopen has got to reinvest $20,000
Just for food. Yep.
They don't have it. Food's spoiled, right? But it's okay. It's okay, because a lot of the hard goods stores can reopen, and all their hard goods are just right there waiting for you. And then the same people who told all of us to stay home encouraged everyone to come out and grieve. And what happened? Someone put bricks all over these cities.
Yeah.
And then people smash all those stores with hard goods, and the hard goods get stolen. You know what, man? How many coincidences until you've won the lottery? I got to say, man. I got to say. You're seeing... I have covered these protests for a decade.
Yeah.
I have never seen stacks of bricks lined up outside of all of these places.
Neither have I.
Never.
I've been there with you.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
Like
Right. It's crazy.
we were at a place where they like burned a car.
Yeah.
They were throwing bottles at it, threw me a bottle at me. No bricks.
Yeah.
But what you walk up to a courthouse and there's a big old stack of bricks, and the protesters are calling it out. Even people who protest who know this.
Yeah.
Because they're not rioters, they're protesters. And there's that one video I love where the guy's like, "This is a setup."
Yeah.
He's like, "You got to do better. This is a setup."
Mm-hmm.
These people know what they're seeing.
Exactly.
There was one where a woman is like, "Why are all these bricks dropped right in front of this building? What is this?"
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody is organizing, and I think it's Antifa.
I think so too.
But what you got to understand about Antifa, what they're planning on going after them as, my understanding is individual domestic terror charges. So far left extremism. Now all of these pundits I see are popping up being like, "Trump is so dumb, saying Antifa are terrorists," and I'm like, I was talking to this guy, and I said, what would you call it? And he's like, "It's not terror." And I'm like, okay, hold on, let me ask you something. When they sent me a picture of my fan, when they posted a picture online of me and me and another photo had my mom on it, and then lied about me in crazy ways, and then some people in when I was in Berkeley threatened me and tried to fight me, and some dude intervened to stop them. When they sent me emails with my address on it, when they sent me death threats, what do you call them? Is that look? They're politically motivated.
I pulled up the definition.
Okay.
Here's the definition of terrorism.
Yes.
The use of violence and threats to intimidate or coerce, especially for political purposes. That's number 1. Number 2, the state of fear and submission produced by terrorism. And 3, a terroristic method of governing or resisting of government. That's exactly what these people are doing.
Yep.
The Antifa people.
What we are seeing with Antifa is the intelligent, strategic evolution of insurgency.
Yep.
Where they know if they create a group and call it like, the Fighting Mongooses, then the police are going to be like, which one of you is part of the fighting mongooses and who's the leader and where's the money come from? So what they do is they pretend to not exist. It even says in the manual that if you form a group, don't give it a name and don't allow outsiders in. It's a tight-knit group of people. You have a vetting process. Everyone's background checked and someone has to vet for each person. So what they're doing is specifically looking at the laws and how terrorism is being enforced and then navigating between them to engage in terrorism. Now, I'll admit, it is broad, blunt, low-level terror. And so the problem for us, when the far right, whatever you want to call them, I don't think far right makes sense. I mean, I guess culturally, engage in terror. It is sharp. It is a rifle. It is unloading on tons of people. These things are rare, but when they happen, shocks the minds of everybody. And that's damaging to their own cause because it makes everyone hate them. What Antifa does is low level enough where the press won't pick it up. Is it news to the average American that outside of Mike Cernovich's event, Antifa strangled a guy? It's not. The New York Post picked it up because it was a local, crime event.
Yeah.
The guy got arrested. But regular Americans never heard that happened. So Antifa engages in these low-level efforts to shock and scare people, and it's death by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah.
And that's why it's more effective. So they say, we're just Antifa, it's a loose organization. Well, who bought you your clothes?
Yeah.
Who bought you the flag?
And who's bailing you out of prison?
Justin Timberlake
Yeah.
and Chrissy Teigen and Steve Carell, was it?
Steve Carell.
Steve
Lots
Carell.
of other celebrities. Joe Biden staffers.
So this is interesting now. If Trump's going to charge them as terrorists and Joe Biden is bailing them out, his campaign is.
Yeah.
Well, his campaign staff. I'm going to be very, very careful. So back to that list we were talking about. Democrats, it wasn't only Democrats who released prisoners. They got released all over the place.
Okay.
Democrats are the one who want to remain locked down, though.
Yeah.
Even though we had data coming out saying the lockdown wasn't working. Republican states stayed open. Texas was the last to close, one of the first to open. And then after your business is completely destroyed and they're encouraging these same people to come out, you can still argue it must be just stupid people. Oh, these stupid Democrats don't realize what they're doing. They're encouraging. CNN said the rioting was just the language of the unheard, desperately begging the rioters not to bash a bottle over their head like they did those journalists, I think it was in Louisville.
Yeah.
Then, finally, to top it all off, your business is now gone. The people that told you not to go out encouraged the protesters, which morphed into rioting, and they kept encouraging it and defending it, saying, oh, but it's the police who's at fault. And then finally, when you're like, could it get any worse? Joe Biden's staff steps up and says, by the way, we're going to make sure we bail out those people that destroyed your city. Could you imagine living in a place like that?
Oh
No.
my gosh.
Yikes, man. I'll tell you what else. The United States no longer has a Second Amendment argument
That's a good point.
or debate. It's done.
Right.
It's
done.
over.
It's finished.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, there's videos coming up all over the place. People defending their businesses, and the people are just going around their business. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, they're standing there with rifles, and no
Yep.
one's touching them.
There's no there's no more gun control debate because all these when COVID happened, all these liberals showed up.
Yeah.
And were like trying to buy guns, and he was like, the store owners are like, it's gonna take a couple of extra days. You got to fill out these forms, and they're all shocked.
Yep.
Now where are we, man? Did you hear about the bar owner in Omaha?
No.
So a bar owner and his dad, these rioters were smashing everything up, and so the dad confronts this group, and the group shoves him down. So then the son shows that he's got a weapon. So then two guys jump him. He pulls the weapon, or they charge at him. So he pulls up and he fires what he says were 2 warning shots. And then I guess they fled. But then another guy knocked him down and jumped on his back, I guess. And then he fired over his shoulder, shooting the dude in the neck.
Okay.
Now in Omaha, they're demanding he be charged with murder. Yep.
What?
Yep. And the prosecutor said no. He said, based on reviewing the footage, it was self-defense.
Oh, there was footage of it.
Yep. Lucky.
Yeah.
He didn't start the fight.
Yep.
His dad did. His dad got knocked down. He showed him he was armed.
Yep.
And then he got attacked. He defended himself.
Yep.
I think there'll be more riots from that. But we're seeing this kind of stuff, man. I've got, dude. I'm gonna be. I can't. I don't want to reveal any identities. But let me just tell you, a person I know, lifelong Democrat,
Okay.
like hates the Republicans.
Yeah.
Said to me, the only way that this is resolved is if Donald Trump wins re-election and the Republicans control every branch. A lifelong Democrat told me that, and I'm laughing.
How long
Wow.
have you known this person?
Very long,
Oh.
very long. Yep. And friends of mine are man, are they getting? It's not a red pill, bro. It's a gigantic red suppository. Because it's one thing.
Oh my gosh.
Listen,
Welcome.
you're welcome. You're welcome, everybody. Thank you.
Oh.
If you're somebody who's like reading the internet,
Yeah.
you get red pilled when you're like, oh, that's crazy. I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
Wow. These people are waking up one day seeing. Do you see that guy who was like, woohoo, riots? And then they came to his house and he was like, oh no, riots.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's what I call a suppository.
Yeah, the other dude was like, yeah, burn it down. Is that the same
That's
person?
him, yeah.
yeah.
That's him,
There's
yeah.
a picture of the building. He's
the-
like, yeah, burn it all down. And then it's like, wait a minute, don't come to my town and burn it down.
The
go,
low-
go burn your own houses. Like,
What? It's the low income housing.
Yeah.
And he's like, burn it down. And then he posts about how he's like, I'm going to go join the protests and stuff.
Yeah.
Then they come to his house and he's just freaking out. And he literally said, don't come to my community. We care about our stuff. Go to downtown LA. That's where the poor people are.
Oh my.
So he's cheering when the poor people burn their own stuff down.
That's messed up.
That is a red suppository.
It's very clear that it's a huge class issue, you know, and that's a big part that people seem to not want to talk about. You know, the whole it's a class. The lower class are really a target here. You know,
It used to be that we understood this. Occupy Wall Street was when people were talking about class issues.
yeah.
And then they introduced them to identity politics.
They're like, no, it's a race issue. Racism controls everything. Now, I'm not saying there isn't racism that exists, because absolutely it's out there, but it is a huge class issue, and that's what we were talking about before about living in cities. We have to pay others for all of our services, and that's part of, you know, that it's like working for yourself or working for someone else forever. But now you're living for someone else and working for someone else. So every aspect of your life, you basically have someone else you have to answer to, and that's the problem.
You know, people, Mike Cernovich tweeted this. If you're not familiar, he's like a very prominent Trump supporter. I don't know what you call him now, conservative. But he said his prediction is that Trump wins a narrow victory.
Okay.
Republicans lose the Senate. I don't know what he said about the House. And I'm wondering, man, could that be? Like, after all this, people would vote Democrat, huh? I guess, maybe. Some people have messaged me and they said, I'm wrong. The race is really close. And I have to stop pretending like, you know, Trump's going to take it. And I'm like, but I listen, man, I grew up in Chicago. You grew up in Chicago.
Yeah.
Then you moved out. The people I know.
Well, I lived in the city until I was 3, and then I moved to the suburbs. So I wouldn't say I lived in the city.
Well, I mean, but Chicagoland area. That's what.
Yeah.
Like everyone there is a Democrat.
For the most part.
Yeah.
Not my family that lives there.
No. Once you get out of the suburbs, you can find little Republican pockets.
Yeah.
But I grew up in the city. Everyone's a Democrat. And people I know now there are like diehard Trump. And I'm like, I can't see it. I can't. Maybe there's other areas. The suburbs changed to Republican to Democrat. I don't know. I guess if these protesters show up at the suburbs, then it'll be a wake up call for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But to see a lot of these upper middle class and like, you know, snooty elites shocked that the purge actually included them too.
Yep.
That's what they thought. They were like, it's fun to watch on TV. Reminds me of the movie The Hunt.
Yep.
The rich elitists are like, we're going to go hunt these people. And then it's like, you're going to die. You know, these people don't get it.
Yeah.
Which brings me to the next bit, which you will all love. Is this the right story? Oh, here we go.
Yes.
Brian Bartles, 20-year-old accused of inciting violence and riots in Pittsburgh in police custody. I think it's not just that. I think he actually tried burning a building down.
Oh, wow.
He's in big trouble.
So, but here's the best part. You got to read. You got to hear this. 20-year-old Brian Bartles, the man accused of inciting violence and riots in Pittsburgh on Saturdays in police custody. Bartles turned himself in. Oh, really? At police headquarters Monday. He arrived with an adult male and adult female. Who could that have been?
Yeah.
We have a video. Let's play the video.
That's a walk of shame right there.
That's a prep walk.
Oof.
Mr. Bartles, do you have anything to say about what happened on Saturday?
Man, his looks could kill.
Anything you want to say?
Destroy that police car.
Oh my gosh.
Do you have anything to say?
All right, now, I gotta say, man. First of all, that dude really does look like his dad. Like,
Yeah.
it looks like him, you know what I mean?
Oh, they totally do. They have
Yeah.
the same eyes.
Okay, yeah, that's his dad. You know what I want to say to those parents? You're bad parents.
Yeah.
Well, they brought him in at least.
Well, yeah,
That's
it's a
good.
combination. Yeah.
But how do you let your kid become that messed up? 20 years old,
Not paying attention.
destroying a police car. Apparently, look at this. Look at this. Bartles is facing charges of institutional vandalism, rioting, and reckless endangerment, according to the police. He's responsible for breaking the windows out of a Pittsburgh police car against the wishes of peaceful protesters. What a scumbag.
Yep.
Man. After he was arrested, police say they received a call from Bartles' attorney earlier in the day saying Bartle would turn himself in Monday afternoon. Bartles had no comment as he walked into police headquarters.
Indeed.
His attorney also told KDKA's Nicole Ford he has no comment. There was so much destruction downtown after Saturday's violent demonstration, and police believe Bartles from the Allison Park area helped incite the violence. Pittsburgh provided a photo of him wearing all black with a black bandana around his face.
I don't know. It looks like his hair is kind of frosted there, and I don't see it in the other picture.
This?
Yeah, it looks like
It's
a
not
different
frosted.
person.
No,
Yeah.
it looks like him.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's a little.
Similar. I think. He's the one
There
who turned
was
himself
something
in.
happened where they knew it was him,
Oh, okay.
and then started showing photos of him.
All right.
Well, let's hear what they say. They say, check this out. Shaler police in Pittsburgh served a search warrant at a home in Shaler Sunday. So they're coming for you, man.
Ooh.
Bartles was not there, but investigators say they found evidence that links him to the protest. Guns,
Whoa.
spray paint, and gloves also found during the search warrant. Search warrant execution was the sweatshirt matching the one seen in the video of the protest on Saturday.
Oh.
They got you.
Yep.
You see the Nashville perp walk?
No.
The cops actually found the guy at his house,
Okay.
brought him out. He's 24, and they stood him up and took a nice little picture and tweeted it out.
Wow.
They want everyone to know what you look like. Man, could you imagine? You know why I'm saying these parents are bad parents? Could you? This kid's life is over.
Yep.
He's probably going to, well, we'll see what the government does to him. And I wouldn't be surprised if they cut him some kind of deal. But it's very likely. I mean, these are felony charges, I'd imagine, right?
Yeah.
Like burning a police car? That's got to be a felony.
Yeah, that seems felonious.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I mean, I kind of hope it is.
Right.
No, it's a misdemeanor. You get a slap on the wrist and a fine for torching a police car.
Oh yeah.
No, I imagine this dude is done for, man. But so many of these people don't realize
Yeah.
they're on camera.
Yep.
There's
Cameras are everywhere.
There's a video.
everywhere.
What these people don't understand, and criminals don't either, is the power of optics.
Yep.
You ever watch a police chase? The helicopter is like, how far away is this helicopter? It's like a mile, 2 miles away, and they zoom right in. They can read the license plate
Yep.
as they follow you and the guys in the helicopter.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a video of this woman, and she's walking down the street, and she's got like a hockey stick or something, and she's not wearing a mask, and she walks right up, and you can see her face clear as day, because I guess she didn't realize the camera was really, really far away. Then she pulls the mask up and starts trying to smash a window. It's like, well, you're going to jail, you're going to jail,
Going
dude.
down.
Yeah.
These people, man, why sacrifice your life over all of this? You know?
Especially when most of them are they're talking about it, and it's not even about George anymore. It's like, what are you doing? You're just taking the point and changing it. You know, you're not honoring his death. That's for sure.
It's not
like,
about
Yeah.
it.
It's not about him at all
no.
anymore.
Yeah.
And that's the worst.
This is the weird thing about these people. It's like, you know what I think it is? The media ragged on incels.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, it's young men sitting at home in their mother's basements.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you think these people are? The dude's clearly out of shape, and he's got stupid weapons, and his parents brought him to the police department. The problem is the media never called out the same problem on the left of these people with no function, no purpose,
Yeah.
no skills, and then they have to go to jail because they do really, really dumb things. But
Yep.
here's the thing about it. It's like I was saying about the blunt force terror versus the extreme.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to like the incel stuff, there's a couple people, a small handful, several people out of the past decade or so. When you look at how an extreme acts and they get a ton of attention.
Okay.
When you look at the left, there's thousands of these people doing low-level terror, and they never get any press.
But now, when there's thousands of them doing them all at the same time, and they're being separated from the peaceful protesters that are trying to go out and protest, you know, a death of, you know, one of their kin. It's like, it's clear as day. You know, there's a split line now, which is good. We needed that, and especially when they tackled an Antifa person, and like that's what we need to see more.
But it's still blurry.
Okay.
I was talking to a friend about this who was telling me that, their friends and family want to go out and support Black Lives Matter.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, it's a tough call.
Yeah.
You got your First Amendment right to do it, but you realize they're exploiting you, right? These activists want you to go out and form a crowd so they can exploit your anger and turn it into something else. Let me tell you, these
That's what we're
people
seeing.
are professionals. When Trayvon Martin protests sparked up, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the most disgusting things I've ever seen. Some protesters organized a Black Lives Matter rally.
Okay.
And they're marching. And one of the, I tell you, it's actually really funny. Sad for the organizers. They got to a point where they started yelling, "Where should we go?" as they marched. And the organizers were like, "The courthouse. We want to bring it to the police." And they went, "Yeah." And then Occupy Wall Street Antifa people ran to the front of the protest and then started going like this, waving backwards with their hands, and then turned the other direction to bring them to Wall Street. And the organizers who actually organized the whole protest, who want to go to the courthouse, were going, "No, no, 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 whoa, stop. Too late."
Wow.
They don't get it, man. And so what happened was the Occupy people brought them to Wall Street and to the Bull, where they danced and just jumped around. And these people are really good at shutting down protests. It's so easy.
Yep.
You want to know a secret? If there's a big march happening in, say, like New York, but and let's say it's only semi-organized, where like they said, meet up here and then we're going to march. All you have to do is get like 2 or 3 friends. And if you're 10 feet in front of the crowd, any direction you turn, the entire crowd goes with you. That's why they have the organizers walking backwards, going like this with their hands.
Yeah.
Because then the organizers choose where they go. You can easily override, because they'll have 2 or 3 people. And I've seen it happen.
Wow.
I've seen journalists accidentally guide protests into ridiculous areas.
Just because they're trying to get a picture.
So the journalist is
running
always
ahead.
in front.
Yeah.
And they're taking pictures, and they turn around and start walking. And then I there's like one moment during Occupy where a guy pulls out his phone and he's walking forward and then starts turning left. And then all the protesters start turning left with him. And then the organizers started freaking out. Like, you're getting off of Broadway. What are you doing? And too late. They followed the journalist. And the whole march just turns and no one has any idea what's going on.
Wow.
Because no one's paying attention, That's kind of what it is with these kids that are going out and rioting. And now, man, I don't think anybody really... What I mean by anybody is I don't think the people in big cities are paying attention at all to why it's happening and what's going on and who's doing it.
No, there's probably those, you say organizers. They're the ones who are aware. And those people exist. And they probably have groups of people around them that are with it. But then for the most part, the message gets lost in the violence and the wildness of what
and
it is.
Maybe that's intentional.
I think it is. There's people out there that are definitely trying to take the message away.
You know what I was thinking?
What?
A part of me thinks it's possible that Antifa has actually long since been infiltrated by overt white supremacists. Because you think about their tactics, Antifa is the most effective black propaganda. If Antifa was actual white supremacists, it is the most effective white supremacist campaign ever undertaken. Think about it. All of these riots where they're all blaming Black Lives Matter for it.
Yep.
And now people are trying to say Antifa. They're trying to point to the white people and they're trying to post videos about it.
Yeah.
Think about, there's a video of a black man pointing out 2 young white people who are talking about burning down buildings. And he's like, no, not in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Who are these white people who come to black neighborhoods to burn and destroy their property and their wealth? Doesn't sound like an anti-racist, does it? It sounds like something out of the Klan. It sounds like what the Democrats used to do 100 years ago.
Yep, I could see that.
It's funny, I remember, because they were trying to claim that Trump made a George Wallace quote
Okay.
when he said the looting starts.
Oh,
the
yeah,
shooting
yeah,
starts.
that one.
It's actually not. It's like a Chief Headley or whatever from Miami.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, wasn't Wallace a Democrat?
He was.
These people don't get it. They really don't get it.
Didn't learn history.
But they've learned a valuable lesson. If you say you're Antifa, that means you can't be a fascist.
Oh, yeah.
It means anybody who opposes you must be.
Right.
And they've determined that because they're Democrats, they can't be racist because they say they're not. So I'll ask you, man, when have we seen the alt-right and far-right, whatever, go into black neighborhoods and successfully destroy all of their property?
No.
No, but have we seen Antifa do it?
Yep.
Yeah, we have.
Interesting.
Yes, we have. So I got to wonder, man, And of course, you do see looters downtown.
Yeah.
And one of the things that bugs me out is a lot of people are posting videos of black people looting buildings and stuff.
Okay.
And I'm like, come on, man. There's videos of white people looting too.
Yep.
Different neighborhoods. One of the annoying things for me is that you can go to specific neighborhoods because of segregation. Like, and I mean social segregation, like when people choose to live near each other.
Right.
And easily film specific things and try and attribute it to one group or another. So I don't think it's fair to do that. I do think it's fair to point out, we got a ton of videos, like that woman with the brick, walking up to the car full of white people being
Yep.
like, what are you doing?
Why would you hand this out?
Because they're white supremacists, man. Mm-hmm. And so the joke is they're white supremacists with guilty consciences. Mm-hmm. Nah, they're just white supremacists, man.
Yep.
I think you might be right.
So I can say this. It is a fact that in the Pacific Northwest, Antifa does collude with white supremacist groups. This is a fact. So there hasn't been any strong reporting on it other than people I know who, like, I'm talking legit journalists,
Okay.
who do sourcing with various extremist groups, know for a fact they coordinate with each other for specific reasons. They both think each other is a useful idiot and both provide intel for them against the government. So Antifa is absolutely willing to be like, what have you guys heard? What can you tell us?
Yeah.
And the white supremacists are like, here's what we know. Here's what you can watch out for. Because the white supremacists don't like the government either. Not all of them.
Yeah.
But a lot of them are like insurrectionist, anti-establishment. And what do you expect? I think it would be great if there was stronger reporting on this, but no one wants to burn their sources because the moment someone says this person did it,
Yeah.
then they lose all their connections to Antifa. Like they have the one person feeding them all this info. So they're like, oh, I can't tell you.
What do you think about that picture that's going around of Antifa being infiltrated and taken over just to find out who's in it?
Oh, the OC Antifa one?
Yeah.
I think it's fake.
You think it's fake?
I mean, it's probably real to an extent.
Yeah.
And it's so I here's a better way to put it. I think it's real.
Okay.
But I don't think it's like a powerful, large Antifa organization. I think it was probably just an account that was tweeting these things and then maybe made some connections and got some private information.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'm not convinced that it's like you're going to see a database drop of all of these Antifa people from Orange County or whatever. But I actually do think that Antifa, for the most part, wants to overthrow the U.S. government. It's not about fascism.
They've said it, right? There's videos of them talking about it.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. They want their, communist utopia or whatever. Trump and a bunch of people are saying they're anarchists. Man, they're not anarchists. That annoys me. Anarchists, you've got right-wing anarchists who are, trying to sell land or something.
Yeah.
And then you've got left-wing anarchists who are trying to share the watermelons they grew on the land. And that's anarchy. There's no authority. It's people just chilling. Using violence on someone is asserting authority over them. So the right-wing anarchists and libertarian types have the non-aggression principle. You
Okay.
can't aggress against someone else. Where they draw that line, it gets difficult. The left doesn't really have that, but it's because it's almost impossible to be a left libertarian. It's almost impossible to like find a group that agrees on everything and just cooperates.
Yeah.
It's not in human nature.
Well, that won't ever happen because there's billions and billions of us, and we all have different upbringings, different personalities, different everything.
On a small scale, it could.
Sure, on a small scale,
Like-
but we are not living
Right.
in small scales anymore.
Right.
There's billions of us.
Well, that's also why I think laissez-faire capitalism doesn't work either.
Yeah.
Because then you end up with the corporation.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, you can not have anything because they own everything.
Yep.
So there's got to be some kind of limit or regulation. But all of these people seem to think they know what's best. But the craziest thing is, if I was actually to make a bet, like if someone said to me, Tim, what do you think is the most likely reason for all of this? I would say stupid college kids who are easily manipulated because they have no purpose are being manipulated by online influences from various countries
Yep.
in order to be like
Part of something.
deranged. No, like
And deranged.
they're driving into the derangement.
But that's part of it.
So they argue that Russia is trying to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it's true, but the scale to which they argue it is probably not true. It's like some Russian influence is trying to incite and stoke the fire.
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell you, man, Al Jazeera Plus, they were a well-funded San Francisco digital media outlet putting out nothing but police brutality videos, getting 2 billion views per year.
Wow.
And what do you think that does to the mind of young people as they're growing up? Their brains don't work anymore.
That's the truth. All
Yeah.
cops are bad.
Yeah, all cops are bad and all cops are racist and all this other crazy nonsense.
Right.
So now they're outside, like watching the protesters outside of the White House was like They're all chanting Black Lives Matter. You know why that's nightmarish?
Why?
They were all white. I'm like, man, it's the weirdest thing. All these white people coming out, being angry for someone they don't know, which, like, to an extent, I can respect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a cult, man. They have this weird dogma. And then what's crazy is when you actually see black people be like, yo, stop. They're like, shut up. That's why I think they're white supremacists,
I think
dude.
you might be onto something.
Yeah, dude. I'm convinced, seeing all this stuff, that people are going to become extremely racist. They're going to go buy all the guns they can. And it is a white supremacist's dream come true. When do you know about what happened with Sarah Jong?
No.
She was an Asian woman who got hired by the New York Times.
Okay.
And she immediately got called out for years worth of anti-white tweets, like really brutal, just brutal stuff. Like I don't remember. Do you remember any of the tweets she said?
She was talking about how she was hoping that something like how much she disliked old white men. That was her main focus. She wanted to get rid of all the old white men. And I was like, that's not a really good look for someone who's going onto an editorial board. But
she was saying like all white people this, white people that, and just it was really messed up stuff. I'm not going to pull her tweets up.
Yeah, especially men.
And the New York Times defended her. And you know what the response was from actual white supremacists? I wish we had 1,000 more of her.
Oh yeah.
So all of a sudden, these leftists, these Antifa media types start writing, white supremacists are furious over what she's saying. And I saw that and I'm like, no, they aren't.
No.
They love it.
They love it. Why are these people in the media lying to protect the white supremacists?
That is weird.
Because they are white supremacists. So the reason these white supremacists liked what Sarah Jong was saying was that it was essentially black propaganda for white people. And they were hoping when white people saw how much she hated them and was in an institution of power, it would make them hate the media, reject the media, and it would make them, quote, racially conscious. When you start seeing people in high levels of power say that because of your race, you're bad and you should die, that's what they want to happen.
Yeah.
Because then it makes white people react based on their race. One of the ways they've explained it in memes is they get attacked over and over again because white people are privileged. So then they form an identity group for white people and then get attacked for being racist. And they're like, it's what you told us we were. And like, it was the only way to defend ourselves. So what you started seeing from the rise of this, like, it's called leftist identitarianism. Groups like Black Lives Matter, for instance, was the inverse, the alt-right. And then you see people like at the New York Times getting away with it, just cheering it on. And then it leads to what we see in the White House. Thousands of white people chanting Black Lives Matter. And so, I'm talking to my friends about it. And I'm like, man, look, I get it. Racism, all that stuff, big problem. But the things you're saying make no sense. Like, if I was to talk to you about wealth inheritance and the destruction of property and how that translates, your response to me is that I'm focused on the rioters instead of a man losing his life. When I try to explain to you that, the reason why, well, I can't remember the rapper's name, Dream or whatever, was saying, don't destroy my town. He was saying it because he wants to give his kids an inheritance so that they have institutional power. But when these white people like Antifa show up to black neighborhoods and burn everything down, then all of the white liberals cheer for it. That means the next generation will never recover. That means you literally have white Antifa making sure the black people can't come up. And then the Democrats offer them policies that's destructive. Things that, make it so that they're either not going to work or that their homes are destroyed.
Or they're going to stay in that class forever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They can't move up. That's why, that's my loose conspiracy of Antifa is secretly white supremacists.
Yeah.
Or they're not. I mean, I think it's fair to call them that. What some people have called them is white supremacists with guilty consciences. It's like one way to explain it. But yeah, man, other than that, I don't think we have the SpaceX article pulled up, but we should probably jump over to something that's less insane.
I don't either.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe
we should just rock super chats out for that.
Let's rock out some super chats. Do you
Yeah.
want while we pull up super chats? Do you want to pull up the article from the SpaceX stuff?
I mean, I know all about it. I can straight up rap about it if you. But
Maybe get some
Adam
photos
rap
though.
about it.
Yeah, I'll do that.
So for those that are listening, man, we talk about we're going to read super chats right now. So a lot of the stuff you're going to see is going to be related to all the stuff that we were just talking about. But if you want to jump into the super chats, you can. And then the next segment we'll do is, we'll talk about SpaceX because we can kind of Get away from all the crazy.
And thanks for being here with us, everybody. I really
Yeah,
appreciate it. This is
a new
the
record.
biggest group we've
Oh,
ever
is
had.
it?
Holy
31,000 people.
Whoa.
Yeah, dude.
Smash that like button.
Yes.
Who's not smashing
Smash
that
the like button and feel
Right.
free to share. I know, not everyone agrees with our opinions, but we're gonna give them to you.
Yeah.
And,
But now we're gonna
talk
read
about it.
That's
Now
right.
we're going to read your opinions.
Yes.
Yeah, and,
Even the bad ones.
and dissect it.
Even the bad opinions.
Indeed.
You guys ready? Let's see. David, Tim moved to Syracuse Sedeno. We'll see. Says, hey, Tim.
He's consistent.
Yeah, he is. Hey, Tim, on your National Guard spiel. They may be weekend warriors, but they are taught to shoot to kill in training just like active duty. Rubber bullets are not a soldier aims center mass. Soldiers are trained shoot to kill. So I don't know if you guys heard, but National Guard and cops killed a guy. And it's going to lead to more riots because now the left is saying it was just a barbecue chef. It wasn't a riot or anything, and that they don't know who fired back and this innocent guy died. And I'm like, does it really matter? Like, people losing their lives. We can argue about who we think is innocent, who we think isn't, but all that matters is the left is adamant. They're right. They're justified, and they're going to riot. They're going to riot over stuff like this.
Yep.
All right, Steven says, when super chats start, Tim Sharts. Actually, that's fake news, but I
not true.
appreciate you giving me the money. Kyle Buchanan says, Tim, remember like a year ago when you said everything is boring? Well, look at the world now.
Look what
Love
you've
you
done.
guys. Stay safe and stay true to yourself. I take no responsibility. It's not my fault.
It's all Tim's fault.
Tim didn't do it.
I've been sitting in my room complaining on the internet.
That's true.
Getting new colored shirts.
That's right. Look
Colored
at that.
shirts, look at
Oh,
this.
wow,
Ooh,
I'm
yeah.
rocking it.
I got a brown. I got a maroon.
We have green.
Are you
I
gonna
have a
switch
green
it? Are
shirt.
you gonna switch
have
it up
green,
maybe
yeah.
tomorrow?
I don't know.
Ooh, no. Ooh,
No,
no. That's
too
a lot.
much.
Yeah.
Too soon.
Too soon. Yeah, come on, man.
I'm sorry.
It's like a turtle. I gotta like peek out the shell.
See, I
and,
like to wear a different shirt every day.
meh,
Nah.
different shirts.
Hey, it happens.
Thought Police Criminal, thanks for the super chat. TL says, follow the bricks. So I think that's a reference to the bricks being layered all over these different cities.
Yeah, and who's putting them there?
Who
That's
is
really
putting
the
them there?
key.
They've got surveillance footage of this.
Mm-hmm.
They should be able to track some of the
Yeah,
stuff
it
down.
shouldn't be
Yeah,
that
there's
complicated.
people trying to argue that there's they're refacing that thing behind there's scaffolding, and I'm just like, okay, what about all like 30 other photos that I've
Dude.
seen
From
that's
different
not
cities.
the case.
Yeah.
There's just
I don't-
random pallets of bricks
The other thing
in
they're
random places. It doesn't
Right.
make sense.
the other thing they're doing is they're trying to frame the police with these out of context videos.
Okay.
So there's one video where there's a cop car, an SUV, and the police are bashing the window.
All right.
And then someone's like, look, they're damaging their own vehicle. They're damaging their own vehicle. Look. There's another video where there's a building with storefront windows, and they're knocking the glass out.
Okay.
And it's like, they're probably for the SUV knocking the broken glass out of the window because it's not safe and they can't drive it with broken glass falling all over the place.
That makes sense.
So they're not doing it to frame somebody.
Yeah.
Then when it comes to the building, the same thing. The other thing is, I'm like, there could be someone inside. And so the cops are knocking the glass away to try and clear it out so they can climb in safely because someone went in and was rioting or something, or looting or hiding.
Yeah.
But they're trying to make it seem like the cops are doing it. Mm-hmm. David S. says, Andy No is a must follow. He certainly is. Mm-hmm. Adam says, I'm 40 miles from the city and comfortable knowing these looters won't get up the energy to make it to me. Yeah, I'll tell you what, man, don't be so sure.
Yeah.
They showed up to Cassandra Fairbanks' house and she doesn't live in the city.
I know, but she was asking for it.
Nah, asking for it.
Dude, she was putting out the craziest tweets, man.
You're allowed to insult people all day and night and be nasty. She didn't cross any lines.
you should be able
sure,
to.
I agree. You're right.
And why did someone drove past Blair White's house screaming her name?
Yeah, that's
Granted,
weird.
I don't have an answer for that.
They
Yeah.
shot at Cassandra's house.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't know, Cassandra Fairbanks is, I guess you can say she's a conservative journalist. She used to be.
She's pretty wild.
She used to be Black Lives Matter.
She
used
posts,
to be like
posts some
Antifa.
fire out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so she has been trolling a lot, and
Yeah.
they showed up to her house.
Mm-hmm.
And I wake up and I'm just like, I'm seeing these messages and I'm like, what is going on, man? This is crazy.
Yeah, that's not acceptable.
So now everyone's basically pro 2A. You know, I certainly am. I'm like,
Yep.
No, I'm not gonna wait. I'm not gonna sit around and find out on this stuff.
I know.
Yeah. Clay Carroll says, "Hey Tim, do you know anything about the Trump Epstein leaks from Anonymous?" I do not, unfortunately. Kyle Buchanan says, any timeline on the Lydia or Adam shirts.
We're working on it. No
Yeah, I
timeline,
don't
no,
know
sorry.
yet.
Well, I'm trying to figure out a good graphic for me. I don't know. And Lydia still has. Do you even have any idea for a graphic for you?
Yeah, I have an idea, but we just haven't done anything with it yet.
Yeah.
Just, one thing at a time.
The Rising Refugee says, who is this man wearing Tim's beanie?
I know, right?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know who this person
Who
is.
is this person?
Strange man is
we
taking
allowed
over
to
the
host
channel.
our podcast, Adam.
It's a weird color here. I'm
what's
used
going
to
on?
like a certain color scheme.
Yeah.
And this
And everything's
is,
warping.
This
Dude,
ain't
this
it.
is throwing me
Yeah.
off, yo.
What the heck?
What the heck?
Dean Badger says, I was thinking about your Friday show. You should call it Talent Pool Friday. Love the work you all do.
Kind of
Oh.
like that.
Critchian says, give me flat screen or give me death. Chris Maddle says, hey, Tim and Co. Thanks for all you do. Be careful on using the phrase play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Another YouTuber named Mixer used that and got banned for an entire week. What? Really?
Oh, wow. Interesting.
I
I'll have
don't,
to look into
that doesn't
that.
sound like that was it.
Yeah.
Maybe been something.
I don't know about that.
Because that's like a
Yeah.
common phrase.
Yeah, it really is. It's all over the place.
I'm pretty sure there's a subreddit called Stupid Prizes.
Really?
Yeah, it's called Win Stupid Prizes.
Huh.
Yeah, it's like people playing stupid games.
Yeah.
there's something they tell you in skateboarding, man. The tricks where you're goofing off are the ones that get you to hurt the most.
That's true.
So it's like
Yeah.
if you're looking at this big handrail, like a stair set, and you're like, I'm going to do the craziest trick ever done in the history of skateboarding. You'll try it. You're focused. You land. You'll bruise your heels a little bit. You'll roll away. I got to try again. It's when you're bouncing around on the flat ground and like rolling around on curbs and sticks, you fall down and break your arm.
hit a little tiny pebble.
Yep.
You're not paying attention.
Yeah.
Yep. Stupid games.
Mm-hmm.
Simply Shane says, what are your thoughts on the Roof Koreans comeback tour? I think we were saying it was staged.
I wasn't sure because I couldn't see any writing where he was. So I did see this picture. It is BA, I think is the abbreviation. It's pretty cool. It looks like the Roof Koreans from 92, but I'm not convinced that it was in a city that was rioting. It just looked like he was kind of chilling, like dressed for the part, which is great, but not quite on.
I gotta say, I find the whole Roof Koreans thing very interesting in that there are a lot of people that like dancing around the issue of ethnopolitics. A Korean with a gun defending his business, and they laugh and laugh and laugh about it. And it's like, I just find it interesting why you think it's okay to frame it that way.
Yeah.
And not other racial issues. It's, I don't know how to
Especially
describe it.
during like a pretty heavy racial issue that's happening right now.
Yeah,
It's like-
maybe it's unfair. Maybe the reality is just people don't care and they think it's a funny joke. And which like I don't actually think it's funny. Like, and I'm Korean, so it's like people often message me and they're like, "You planning on going on the roof?" And I'm like, "You know it, buddy. You know it. We got a schedule." What was the joke I made last time? Like, whatever when you're Korean and you turn 13, they give you your rifle and they're like, they bring you to roof training. Like, come on the roof.
Never heard
Really?
that.
That's
but-
amazing.
All
Yeah,
right.
actually, no. We just had kimchi at family gatherings. You know.
I like
That's it.
kimchi.
Yeah,
Kimchi's
and
love
then
it.
burgers at the other
Kimchi's
family gatherings. So I'm also part white.
Mix it up.
Comeback tour. Damian Maddox says, did you hear that Jimmy Dore doxed a woman on Twitter and called her violence against cops last night in his live stream? This whole week is getting crazy. Love the show. Thank you for your content. No, that can't be
Whoa.
true about Jimmy. That would bum me out. Jimmy's cool.
That happened?
I don't know. I'll have to look into it. But if it is,
I don't know.
That's that. I have to reserve judgment until I have the hard evidence. But
Yeah.
I got to be honest, man. That worries me because I'm seeing people go nuts. I know Jimmy's been getting spicy.
Really?
Getting real spicy. He's like very anti-Trump, very anti-cop and all that stuff. I get it. Jimmy's been a very honest, guy, different politics, but I like him. I think he's a cool dude.
Yeah.
The Grizzly says, hope you guys stay safe. Going back home to Michigan tomorrow. It's weird Grand Rapids suffers riots. They're a red city. I know I'm down in southwest Michigan, luckily in a rural farm with guns. I'm looking forward to getting a farm, man. Wugnut Man says, you look good in baby blue. Thank you, good sir. Michelle Mybell says, protests are walking up Hollywood and Sunset Boulevard. Let's see if NBA Karen guy starts crying. Yep. Azazel the Fallen says, whoa, what's with Tim's shirt? It's the same shirt.
It's blue.
And it's the same over shirt. They're just
Different
no, it's
colors.
actually your eyes. Everything's normal. You just have been looking at the sun too much.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good
Nah.
to know.
Fake name says,
No.
remember stoned Tim Pool? Good times. Apparently he came back. Aaron M says, pretty sure Trump just won all the flyover states, Bible Belt, much of the South, and a lot of the Midwest
Yep.
with his Bible at St. John's photo statement. Yes.
Yeah, maybe.
But to clarify too, my point,
I see you, chat. I got
Trump, I was going to spin the UFO.
Oh, wait. We need this
Trump?
angle. There we go.
Trump standing in front of that church of the Bible was showing the American people he was in control. That was the point of that photo.
Yeah.
And the UFO is spinning.
Yes.
you. Got you, chat.
Oh, yeah.
Andrew Sunsturm says, hey, Lydia, Here's that beer money I promised on Saturday. The three of you enjoy a beer on this jaded EMT.
Thanks, man.
Yes, zoom, spin the UFO. Oh, you got it.
He read your mind.
Yeah.
I'm on it, man. I'm on it.
Diabolus absconditus says, Migwa exercises in futility every empire, every nation, every tribe. Thought it would end in a bit more decent way. Every prophet, every ruler, every seer will chew on the ruin and repeat ad nauseum. I had a friend message me and told me I was a prophet this morning. I get a text and he's like, bro, he's like, I look at what's going on and like, I think you're a prophet. And I'm like, I've just been paying attention. That's all it really is.
Tim, you're not a prophet.
If you don't pay attention,
I'm sorry.
you'll be surprised by what happens. I've been watching all of this stuff happening. And then I said last year, this is what's going to happen. And now we'll see if I'm true to the end or if I made it this far.
Predict something good, man.
Let's see. Archerable says, my father is having a hard time getting home from his work in STL. He's a respiratory therapist fighting COVID, protests and riots blocking streets.
Oh, man.
Ooh, that's bad, man. Sorry to hear. Adler the Dark says, the boog will only happen if a force sent to suppress an insurrection ends up joining it. Matthew Emmons says, Cassandra Fairbanks is going to go scorched earth, and I completely agree. Damien Maddox says, show us that sweet casting couch. What, the music couch?
Oh,
It's not set up. It's not
on
Friday,
right now.
man.
Glenn Manuel says, could the protesters be damaging fire trucks to stop fires from being put out? We are getting protests in Canada. I'm glad I moved up from the city. Yeah, they're actually attacking firefighters. And
really?
Yeah, it's a lot of just blind anger for no reason. But it's also the more organized Antifa types know the fire trucks put the fires out. So you got to stop the fire trucks. That's because you people are nuts, man. Let's see. Andrew says, Holy S, Tim is wearing different clothes. It's 100% the end of the world now. My father is also a firefighter. Just told him about what you said. Why rioters attack firefighters. He's concerned. Yeah, that's insane to me.
Yeah, dude.
Gregory Horton says, Tim changing his shirt is proof he has a girlfriend and she dresses him. LOL. No, it isn't. Mark Robert Shaw says, there will be a revolution. It'll be a red wave revolution. The country will push out the far left and the Dems that support them. You know, I think so, but I'm not entirely sure. Like, I want to think so based on everything I've seen, but part of me just says, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what happens. ML says, Tim wearing blue. Well, my eternally liberal mom told me she is planning to vote red this year. The world is upside down. Whoa.
How funny.
Yeah.
Feels like it.
Didactics with David Lopez says, to Comrade Tim, Comrade Adam, and Comrade Lydia,
Oh.
your podcast is helping me get through these crazy times. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Josh Martinez says, I live across the street from last night's riots in Sioux Falls. I slept soundly knowing how many guns are in the area. Cal K says, I had to break up with my girlfriend because she went off and called me racist for calling out the riots. I've gotten messages from friends saying they've had to like quit jobs over how insane people have gotten over this, like demanding they support rioting.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
I can't imagine.
Brandon Long says, Tim, I'm scared of change. Put your black shirt back on. I will, in time. Ivan Zamago says, hey, Adam, not trying to get you. I've heard you would fight in a war is needed. If so, you likely wouldn't be able to stay vegan. Thoughts?
I don't know anything about it.
Like if a war broke out and you were like, you had to defend the country.
Okay.
But so like, let's say they, they're like, Adam, you have to come with us and, cross Valley Forge or whatever.
Okay.
The only food we have is like cow.
Okay.
Would you be able to do it?
Yeah.
Like, you would join it and
Okay. Yeah.
there you go.
Sure.
there's the answer to the question.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
You got me.
No, he said, I'm not trying to get you. Genuine question. Like,
I know. No. It's like, okay. I mean, I'd rather survive than not. It's like,
Yeah.
if I need to eat, that's what I always keep saying. It's like I live in a world where I have all these amazing options. I don't need meat to survive, and so I don't.
Capitalism.
If the world went to S, I want to say a word, but poop, I guess.
We don't swear on the show.
And I had to go hunt, I would do that. I know how to. I've gone hunting in the past. I know what I'm doing. I would be fully capable of doing so. So, yeah, I mean, if I had to fight and the only food was not vegan, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
I feel bad for my bunk mates.
Yeah.
Because my
Survival.
farts would be stinky.
But it's capitalism. We have all these wonderful choices. Can you hear that?
What is that?
Holy
Why is someone
moly.
driving a motorcycle?
That is very loud. Sorry, guys.
Do you guys hear that? That's the sound of my butt.
When
After
Adam is not
eating
vegan.
cheese. Yeah. So that was a
Oh,
little
my
preview for you.
goodness.
Cleo Gamer says, still waiting for the Parallel Universes convo. And I want to discuss Fringe with Lydia. Love you
Yeah.
guys.
I gotta
We need
watch
to
it
get
again, man.
Yeah, we need to pull it up. Chet Chisholm says, would you guys find it interesting, useful, if I did up a video walking through the 911 call, events on scene, medics report, and the autopsies? I would do it from a 911 medic response and medical assessment. Oh, are you talking about Floyd? I mean,
I would think so.
you can send everything to Adam. With that being said, make sure you follow at Adam Krigler.
Yep. Hit me
And
up.
you can send him stuff on Twitter that we can pick up for the show.
Yeah, every week I do a new refreshed post about what you want us to talk about. I try to get through it. I mean, it's getting really popular now, and a lot of people are hitting me up. So,
Success problem.
I mean, a lot of people post the same stuff, and so do me a favor, actually. You know, if you see that post, scroll through it, like something. You know, so like the more likes might stand out a little bit more. I might be able to see what people really want us to talk about.
topics that you think are good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, so
There they go again.
It's like being
Adam.
in our studio with us.
I'm sorry, man.
Somebody's riding a motorcycle outside or whatever. I don't know what's going
Yeah,
on.
it's a nice night.
But yeah, you can also follow me at Timcast,
Yeah, it is.
and I just complain on Twitter, and I post pictures of cats on Instagram, I guess.
Yeah.
Soon to be skateboarding.
Yes.
And then you can also follow Lydia over at Sour Patch Lids, LYDS.
And I really like talking to people, and I also post memes.
She posts spicy memes.
I do.
But also, give a little tap to that like button.
No. Smash that like button.
Okay.
Smash it.
Don't yell.
I'm sorry. I get a little excited.
Everyone went No, but they know
Sorry.
what's coming.
I was excited.
I guess
warning.
you
I'm
know
excited.
we always tell people to like, and now all of a sudden there's like a ton more people watching. So I guess liking really does work.
I think so.
Yeah, like
I'm
it.
very
Like
impressed.
it up.
I like
All
it
right,
too.
let's read
And
some
share.
more.
Share.
We're getting slammed by super chats. I gotta say though.
Ooh, I'm not surprised.
Video
by
Bro
that.
says, "Be safe." A girl I went to high school with posted a message, and Antifa sent her saying they're coming for white people from my high school. I'm mixed race, but don't know if that would protect me. It will not. I'm sorry, it won't. Graf von Tyrrell says, really good move to designate Antifa as a terrorist group. Honestly, should have been done long ago. And I'm still thankful that I am far away from any major city. So I don't know exactly how that will play out, but Antifa, I see a lot of people saying you can't designate Antifa terrorists because they're domestic or whatever. Antifa is international. It's like started in Germany. What are you talking about? It's domestic. They absolutely coordinate internationally. So yeah, they're going to come for these people. So it's not going to be that somebody who is Antifa gets arrested because they have the idea. It's going to be because they've done something, and then they'll be charged under terrorism. So it's like you're allowed to read books written by terrorists. You're not allowed to be, but if you're caught walking around reading those books and then you commit an act of terrorism, they're going to be like, there you go.
Yeah.
Like you're a terrorist. Instacup Noodle says, imagine how I felt when I saw Donald Trump post a video of my friend giving people money for supplies and asking them to move picnic tables. Can you get in touch with him if you have questions? Can I get in touch with Trump?
No.
So
So
this-
this can get you in touch with him if you have questions.
Oh,
Oh,
can get
yeah,
you in
it's
touch with them if
interesting
you have
video.
questions. Yeah, so I've seen some journalists, even conservatives, know who this guy is, and that's what I was pointing out too in the video I did. Is that a lot of people are claiming there's a video of this guy. Trump posted this where he like hands money to protesters,
Okay.
and he says something like, "Try and get as much as you can," and then he walks over and goes, "Hey, we got 3 picnic tables over here," and a lot of people said very obviously he's just talking about buying food and water and stuff. But some people have tried to make it seem like he's paying the protesters to do stuff. And my response is even the middle ground looks bad because someone's bringing money to a protest, giving it to locals to go and buy supplies.
Yeah.
And although I understand it's not the worst thing in the world, like protesters do this, it starts it gets called into question when there's widespread riots and bricks being deposited all over the place.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Follow the bricks.
Asher
Indeed.
Vandale says, we need Judge Dredd. Oh, we just watched Demolition Man the other day.
That is a cool
Can't
movie.
wait for the next one.
Did you saw? Did you watch it recently?
No, not recently,
But-
but I would totally.
Oh,
watch it.
man.
But I've
Somebody-
seen it enough. I know that movie.
It's amazing.
So
Very
good.
well.
I loved it.
Somebody told us to watch it. You got to watch it. We did. And I haven't seen it in a long time. And I just love it when like the verbal morality citations.
Man.
Yeah, when you swear, something in the room goes and prints out a ticket. And my favorite is in the beginning when he walks out of the bathroom.
He doesn't know how to use the seashells.
Yeah. No, he goes, there's no toilet paper, and they're like, what? And he's, there's no toilet paper, and they're like, toilet paper? And then Sandra Bullock laughs, and then he's like, there was just like 3 seashells. And then who's the actor's name? Rob Schneider.
Rob Schneider.
He's like, he doesn't know how to use the seashells. So then Sylvester Stallone walks over to the machine and starts cussing.
Yeah.
And he goes, rant, 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 and prints out all the tickets. And he goes, no toilet paper or whatever. And then he
be right
takes the
back.
tickets and he walks to the bathroom with it.
Terrible.
That movie's great. So anyway, for those that don't know the movie, it's basically like the future is fascistic SJWs.
Yeah, it really is.
And so they can't touch, they don't touch each other. They don't fight.
Yeah.
Like when they try to arrest somebody, it's like they try to arrest the bad guy and he doesn't. They're like, but he's not listening to us.
Doing what we said.
Yeah, and the computer tells them to say or else.
Oh.
And it like doesn't work. The movie's great, man.
Yeah, Wesley Snipes.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
man.
Hydro Homie says, on a lighter note, from all these riots, who would win in a skate match, Tim or the Squid from Rocket Power?
Ooh.
Dude, the Squid did that trick where he did like a quadruple backflip 900 or some ridiculous nonsense.
I don't think you can land that.
No, I don't think so either. He's a cartoon.
I'm gonna go with the Squid then.
Yep.
Yeah, Squid,
Yep.
definitely. I beat him in a game of skate, though, because I don't think they had a concept of flip tricks in that show. Donald Trump says riots will end tomorrow. I just met with my good friend I.B. Rippenham, and we agreed to bombard Antifa with fart correspondence if they don't stop.
Very good.
Yeah, I don't know. They're the kind of people who are probably like, you walk up and fart, and they go, oh, yes, please. Oh, your fart sustain me, please. That's what they like.
I can see it.
It's just a general insult. It doesn't mean anything.
That image is gonna be with me forever.
Antifa fanning the farts. And
No.
It's a Family Guy joke.
It was you. That's all I saw. I saw you wafting them in.
Yeah.
It was good.
Cletus says, welcome to the Second Civil War, 2014 to now. Why not 2011 during Occupy Wall Street? That was the beginning of a lot of this social justice stuff. JCAK says, they have been exposed. The incident here last night, the organizers were like, our folks are home. Who are you talking about? Who was exposed? Diane and Harks, thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Kalatik says, Blue Tims matter. Blue me. Ground Floor Guthrie says, local news in Los Angeles, KTLA 5, were highlighting the difference between legitimate protesters and rioters, looters. They were not apologizing for the bad behavior. That's cool. Asher Vandale, thanks for becoming a member.
Thank you.
Gilberto says, have you guys seen news outlets framing Trump's statement earlier as stopping protests instead of rioting? Love the show, keeping up the great work. Seriously, they're like, to get a photo op. Well, the photo op was important for a lot of Americans who are scared, man. They have no empathy, no sympathy for what people are feeling right now.
It's like people
Seriously.
getting upset when he was trying to give hope, and they were like, "How
Yeah.
dare he give hope?" And it's like, what?
Unsubstantiated hope.
Unsubstantiated hope.
Yes.
It's like, what?
Yep.
He's the president, isn't
That's
that
his job.
his job?
Seriously.
It's like they you know what it is though. It's remember when we had that doctor on the show back in January. Do you remember the doctor's
Yeah,
name?
Dr. Smith.
Dr. Smith.
Sean
And
Smith.
He was talking about toxic masculinity.
Yeah. Yes.
He was talking about how
It's a good episode.
toxic masculinity is just like they're calling stoicism toxic masculinity, and when your car gets a flat tire, the it's a father, a mother, and the kids. The mother comforts the kids are panicking, but the dad tells everyone that everything's gonna be okay, and he remains calm and doesn't freak out. Otherwise, then you panic and you don't get anything solved.
Yeah.
So that's what they want. They don't like the fact that Trump isn't panicking. They want him going up to the podium and being like, my fellow Americans, I have no idea what's going on. It's worse than it's ever been. There's no hope. There's no drugs.
Do you
what they want.
think that's just because they want him to fail?
I think it's yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So they just want him to freak out and run
They
around
want
with
him
his hair
to-
on fire.
I felt like I
Yep.
woke up to that this morning.
Yeah.
To the chaos or what?
Oh, freaking out.
Freaking out.
No.
People freaking out.
Yeah. Well, with
Not remaining calm.
with Cassandra having people show up to her house and fire live ammo at her house, and they took one of those artillery volley fireworks things and propped it up and started shooting at her building. And so she's like hiding with her daughter who's 9 years old, and she's like holding her gun, not knowing what's gonna happen because the cops can't come because they're dealing with the riots and stuff. And what the crazy thing is, I gotta be honest, man, they had posted Cassandra's address the other day, and I was like, well, I don't think anything's gonna happen, but at some point someone will show up. And then it happened that night, and it's like, man. Then Blair posting about how she was getting out of LA and someone
Yeah.
drives past her house screaming her name.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they're why would you? That's a threat.
She wasn't doxxed as far as we know, right?
No, she was.
Oh, she
before,
was
I guess.
a long time ago.
So it's like they want you to know they know where you live.
That's just
and
a
they come
power
for you.
play. That's messed up.
Yeah.
Well, it worked.
Well, that's right, but I mean, it's the next step in mob mentality goes from banging on the windows to someone kicking the door in. Like they did it to Tucker Carlson several months ago, banging on his door or whatever. His wife's hiding in the closet. And so it's only been a few months. I've seen how these things escalate in other countries, and eventually it results in one person running up, kicking the door and running away. Then other people walk up to the door and peek in. Then other people follow those people. And it's one step at a time in increments where everyone just flows like a mob. And then they're ransacking your house. Then when everyone's in there, they're stealing your stuff. They're attacking you and you're hiding in the basement. I mean, this literally happened to that indie newspaper Progressive woman. She's like upstairs and then she hears a crash and then she hides in her basement as they ransack the Progressive newspaper. So they don't care. It's mob mentality, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. K98 Killer says, riot in Miami Saturday. Cops knelt with protesters during a vigil prayer moment of Silent Sunday. Cops and protesters hugged, cried together. That's cool, man.
Very nice.
Cool. Let's see. Brandon says, Lydia, you are hot.
Thank you.
Jack Daw says, I'm a trucker. Been sick about the FedEx vid since Saturday. Tons of truck groups talking about sitting out deliveries for a week. Makes things worse, but we didn't sign up to get dragged out of our trucks to run people run people over. One of two. Let me see if I can find Jax. He says, I'm just trying to do my job. I don't want to kill anyone. So this trucker
Yeah, I saw that.
on the highway didn't hit anybody. And they're posting that he tried to. It's like he slammed his brakes. And what's crazy is they took his phone from him and took pictures of his text messages. One of the things he said was like, nobody wants to do this route. So I think I'm the one. Someone said, are you going to do that route? And he goes, I think so. Nobody else wants to do it. And the activists were trying to make a claim that what he was really saying was that nobody wants to run them over.
What?
Yep.
I
So
didn't
they
realize
dragged
grabbed
him.
his phone.
I don't know why he stopped.
Messed
There was
up.
nobody in front of him. But he pulled over. I guess he was worried. He hit somebody. They dragged him out and beat him. That's what happens, man.
Oh my goodness.
Chet Chisholm says there's a lot of nuance to what happened to George and a number of things that happened to see that seem to be overlooked. Hope you guys and your kitty are doing well. We are.
Sorry.
We good.
D Django Geek says, hey Tim, you should look into getting a P80 pistol or ghost gun for your home or self-defense. They are unregulated since they aren't firearms when you get them and 100% legal. Takes 10 minutes to build an untraceable homemade gun. Interesting. Clara Luther says, Lydia, you're my hero. You dudes are okay too, I guess. Currently in Harlem, I've packed an emergency bag because you never know. This is
Yep,
terrifying.
Correct.
I.B. Ripidum says, that really was Donald Trump. It wasn't me. I swear. Scout's honor. You believe me, right? It's not the first time you've said that.
Sure, sure.
You keep saying that.
I
man.
believe you.
Jack Daw says, I'm just trying to do my job. I'm sorry. I read that one. Tom Koch says, everyone needs to tread lightly if the military gets called in. Police are trained to arrest and apprehend. The military is trained to place warheads on foreheads. Blunt but true.
Yep.
Yeah. Glenn Manuel says, or Glenn Manuel, put in 1,000 square feet of gardens plus a few dozen fruit bushes and fruit trees in the last week. Next goal is chickens. Need to feed yourself now. Yeah, man, I want chickens, but you can't have them where we're at.
Props.
Will Blackburn says, love your content, bro. Keep it coming. I will. Thank you. Benjamin Dine says, the riots are basically an issue of slave morality. Thus, they will only bring destruction for its own sake due to being blinded by envy and hate. Quiet Guitarist Fan says, everyone is turning this into a race issue, which I understand, but it's about statism. Eric July, Young Ripper 95, quotes someone else, I think, saying racism without statism is just a bad idea. Always Blank says, thank you for continuing to bring us no bull news and facts, Tim. Well, look, man, I'm not perfect. And I always try to tell people to try and get as much information from other sources as you can. You know, like watch other YouTubers. And I recommend, I'll give a shout out to the obvious Sticks X and Hammer 666 if you don't watch. And then Jimmy Dore. I'm not saying you have to like them, but, you know, get all different opinions from different people. Robin says, Catan bartering. I have wood for sheep. Want to work for your research company when it starts? Where, how can I audition? Love you guys. If/when, you know, I think it's an issue of when we get the building, but it's been difficult with everything going crazy. People are going nuts, man. But we'll be doing the show and, you know, we'll figure it out. Eggman says Alameda County is placing a curfew from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. for the whole week. In Fremont, CA, we are having a few protests come our way. I pray to God that these will be the peaceful kinds and not the smash it. Peaceful kinds and the smash and grab kind. I read that, but I think you meant not the smash and grab kind. Jake Bartlett says lots of ignorance and justifying of bad actions on social media lately. Wonder if they've seen these shop owners getting stomped in the street. Or they don't care. They could look it up. They don't care.
Yeah.
Tyron Drake says, I'm going into the Navy in around a month, and I'm going to feel a lot safer there than here in Davenport. 2 people died last night, and an ambush on cops as well. I saw that, man. Barb says, did y'all see how MSNBC aired World War Z footage with the riots hit U.S. cities tagline? Title line, city skyline matches the movie and everything. I didn't actually see the video. I've just seen the memes, and I don't know if they're true.
I heard it was a Photoshop type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marley and Octorian, thanks for becoming members. Mallory Moe says, heading back to the Twin Cities, not ready to see my city on fire. I'm sorry to hear it, man. Stay safe.
Sucks.
Wazapalooza the Drunk, thanks for the super chat.
Oh, thank you.
Roman Emperor Constantine IX says, about the water from the Timcast videos. You can't not dump the water. It would have been tainted by any party, so it would be irresponsible to use it themselves or to allow the protesters to use it. So this is in reference to cops seen dumping out water and smashing the gallons and just spilling it all out.
Okay.
Activists were saying that this is like cruel and unusual. They're looting, they're destroying it. And that's the response, right? You don't know what it is. There's just water lying around. What if it is tainted?
What if it's not water?
What if it's not water
Yeah.
and somebody drinks it? So it's unaccounted for. Yeah, man, it's tough, man. There's no easy answers. LaSalle Rhymes the third. Tim and crew, I'm amazed about how long the right and left reported Trump's speech. He should have done this Saturday. Track Media Only says, I'm glad the cops were destroying water. Glad if they don't want to get dehydrated, then they can go home. Go somewhere else and buy water. Your logic sometimes makes my brain hurt. There have been many instances where people on marches have collapsed and been rushed out by ambulances, and the ambulances can't get in, so protesters bring water to make sure that doesn't happen. So people get upset when the water gets destroyed. RioFax says, Tim, did you see the OC Antifa's Twitter message about exposing Antifa? Then Twitter promptly banned them. Twitter banned them because Antifa is better organized than conservatives are. So what Antifa immediately did was organized a brigade campaign where they flagged it under false pretexts, telling everyone to claim that the OC Antifa was actually doing, inciting violence or something. Once Twitter gets enough flags, they automatically take a post down within certain, within reason.
They just brigade it. Interesting.
Always Blank, thanks for joining. iCatch says, the Chicago riots spilled into the suburbs last night and were a few miles from my house. Keep your heads on a swivel. I heard that several suburbs in Chicago instituted serious, high alert security protocols. Police were called out because the protesters were on 55 or something.
Well, I know a lot of people in Chicago that have concealed carry. They have guns. They're gonna start meeting the wrong people, and get. It's gonna be bad if they continue.
I don't. These are kids. I think they're playing a game. That's why that kid had his parents bring him to the police station. It's all fun and games, man. They don't realize how serious this stuff is. Well, I hope that dude enjoys prison. But I feel bad for his parents, but it's kind of their fault, huh?
Yeah.
North Strider says the only thing the like button deserves is a United States of Smash. Mm-hmm. King Canuck says, Tim, that shirt is way too light for you. What is happening? Hope you're doing good, guys. This is escalating way too hard. Be safe.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones says several people stabbed in Denver. Cop stabbed in the face. Whoa, right now?
Yeah, that's my hometown, home city.
Dark Renji says, you hear about the Hackers Anonymous exposing Trump for trafficking? Fact check that, please. I don't know about that. I almost don't believe it, but
I'll look into it.
Rio Effect, thanks for joining. Repo Meister says, everyone guess how many times Tim says Joe Rogan. Well, we've been talking about him recently because of the big stories that have popped up.
Yeah, not once tonight.
Yeah.
Or
once.
Once just now?
You just said it.
Yeah, just now. That's
yep,
true.
there it is. Well, they said it. I only read the comment.
You gotta read it.
Okay.
Brewmaster Monk says Cornel West is a race baiter and needs to look up real race crime stats. You guys should talk to Vince at Red Elephants. Brian Hill says, Master of None. I love your show, Tim. Here's a $5. Trying not to be too hard on some family right now. This is insane.
Yeah.
It is, man. After COVID, I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah.
STFU says, unfortunately, ex post facto laws are forbidden by the Constitution. If the law didn't exist before the crime was committed, then no dice. DG says, when it comes to getting rid of excess fat, BioTrust has been my best friend, especially the tasty chocolate ice cream platinum. $300 deposit for the ad. Don't read. What? That's not a real ad, everybody. That was a super chat.
Just a super chat.
Mitchell Kent says, keep up the great work. You guys give us the info and facts we need. Any speculation on how long this will last? No, I don't know. Because usually they end by the end of the weekend. The weekends end and then things calm down. It may calm down throughout this week.
Yeah, if they have jobs to go back to.
Yeah, maybe, but people also get bored. So the actual opportunists need crowd cover. Most of the people who come out are just bored. They're coming out to see what's going on.
Okay.
Eventually, they're bored of it. They stop coming out, and then the extremists have no cover, and they lose the ability to actually start doing anything.
Yeah, I see.
And then it dwindles down.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully they get bored quick. Code Red says, I just got out of the emergency room for smashing that like button. Stay safe, you guys.
Worth it.
That is the best thing I've heard. As an injury worth getting, and you should all smash that like button.
True.
Heather Graham says, Tim, I feel like Project Veritas warned us months ago in the Sanders campaign expose video. Thoughts? $5 in is for the cats. Oh, okay. I'll We'll.
Make sure they get
Actually,
it.
Betsy's right there.
I was actually watching some of that because people are posting that on my my new tweet about what should we talk about, and it's like, it's pretty insane the stuff that they're saying. They want the world to burn, and it's clear.
They were saying stuff like, we have to keep the crazy stuff hidden when we campaign for Bernie.
Yeah.
Bernie was just a vehicle for them.
Yep.
They don't care who he is.
Yeah, they didn't care about Bernie at all.
Not at all. No. Yeah, man. It could get a lot worse, and I think it will, especially with the election coming up.
Yeah, I agree.
Redwall says, to help with super chats, only encourage chats of a certain amount or higher. Matt Christensen does this by reading $10 or higher chats. You could also implement this if you're constantly going over. My concern is a lot of people then just start doing higher cost chats, and then we get inundated with the same thing. We make a lot of more money, but it's an issue of, I'm not going to tell people we're going to read it if you give a certain amount, then not read it. You know what I mean? So I just you guys say what you want, All right, let's see where we're at, because we got 1,000,001 super chats. Oh, big old jump. So this is what happens on YouTube, for those that aren't familiar. They super chats jump, and then we don't know where we're at, and I got to scroll up.
I think they stack up, and then they leap forward.
Yep, I love it. And we are getting absolutely slammed by super chats right now. But hey, you know what? We're going to read them.
Oh, thanks,
Glad
everybody.
you're here, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, wow. This is a ridiculous amount
We're
of super
drowning
chats.
in super chats.
I mean, it was the most amount of people have ever.
Yeah,
So I mean,
There's
seriously,
too many of
we're breaking records. It's awesome.
So-
I really appreciate everybody.
Yeah.
I got to just add that. It's amazing. You guys
Tim's
are here.
brain is melting. But
The super chat jumps when we get to the bottom of the list, and now it just jumped, and we're back to 20%.
Oh, no.
So maybe you should
means
do.
speed up?
Yep, speed it up.
Gotta speed it up,
I mean,
guys.
it's
I don't
even-
already 9:30. So
Oh yeah.
Whoa!
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
Time flies when you're trying to read super chats.
Dude, we just quadrupled the amount of super chats I just read.
Oh my gosh.
You guys are awesome. I really appreciate it, but man, this is getting really difficult.
super chat.
I can't even look at this. There's too many.
Wow.
All right.
This is the most super chats we've ever had. I'm pretty sure.
We gotta pull a Matt
wow.
Christensen.
I don't even think I can even read them.
You can't even.
No, dude, we're back at the beginning. There's probably
I know. I see that. That's why I'm wowing over here.
10 times as many super chats that I just read now appear, and I don't think I'll be able to get through them.
goodness.
You still haven't found where you were?
No.
Oh, we're
my
back to the
God.
beginning. Oh, this is Sisyphean.
Oh
That's
wow!
my word.
Thank you,
Love
everybody.
it.
You know
Whoa.
what? This is
Oh, no,
this
no,
is
no,
for
no, hold
everybody.
on.
It's
It
for
actu-
everybody
wait,
out there.
wait,
I'm
wait,
spinning the UFO. I got to spin it, Tim.
real quick.
I'm sorry, man. This is
Wait.
important.
No, hold on.
This
I gotta
sounds
say,
right.
All right,
something.
fine. I'll hold.
It erased them.
What?
they're
We got
gone?
so many super chats. The beginning of the list is gone.
Oh,
Oh my!
this is
Yeah.
uncharted territory.
We're reaching
gone.
new sections, and
Wow.
this is
half an hour of super chats are gone.
this is for everybody.
Holy cow. Thank
who
you
lo-
guys for super
who
chatting.
Super
I
chat we
appreciate
lost.
it, man.
This is
YouTube has
for you.
failed us all. I'm
I'm
sorry.
like, why can't I find the beginning of this?
Oh, yeah, because it's not
Oh.
there anymore.
YouTube got rid of them.
Holy cow.
Is it that many? There's a
Wow,
max.
dude. I
Wow!
wonder-
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's all we can say. Thank you,
I
everybody.
mean, super
This
chats
is
are
amazing.
awesome, but I don't want to tell people we can read them if it's this many people.
This spinning UFO is for you.
Yes.
someone just
That's
someone
right,
just super
you.
chatted asking for it.
Perfect.
So
How
So
do I know this?
All the super chats that asked us to spin
I
the
feel
UFO,
the vibe.
that's
I feel
for
the
you.
vibe.
now
we
I'm
all
gonna
love you.
I'm gonna start. This is
You might as well
seemingly-
just get going.
let's do it.
All right,
Come
let's
on,
do a few
Tim.
more.
Let's go.
RTM Dragstaff says first time donating, feel like a mooch. Thanks for the great music last time. Appreciate
Oh,
it.
Thank you.
Man.
Stellar J. Etkin says Antifa are not random groups of individuals. It is a far left activist terrorist ideology with groups in dozens of countries with funding from very wealthy groups. And when Justin Timberlake and Steve Carell and Chrissy Teigen and Joe Biden's campaign are funding them, what is this? These people have threatened my life. They've posted my address. They just went to my friend's house and shot bullets at her house. These are terrorists.
It's like the worst case of virtue signaling.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yep. This is
like-
interesting. With Trump saying this, I think it was Keith Ellison's son. He's what is he? The Minnesota AG.
He was doing something
Yeah.
for Minnesota.
He said, like, I am Antifa. I support
Oh, yeah,
this.
I saw that.
If the president declares a group terrorists,
He retweeted
Yeah.
the president saying
Yep.
it.
So what happens next? Trump says they're terrorists.
You're
Biden
openly
says, I'll
admitting
fund
that
them.
you're funding terrorism.
Yeah.
That's
Cool.
basically what he says.
But that's also really scary that the president could declare a group terrorists.
yeah.
for whatever reason.
You can't retroactively persecute
And then
those
a
people,
government.
right?
No, no. But I mean, it's still all creepy, man.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
I was
All
a
right, let's
little
see.
I was a little sad to see or hear Steve Carell's name there.
Yeah,
Yep.
everyone was, I think.
These people have gone nuts, man. They don't read the news. They just told what they're told to believe.
Or they read the news,
Yeah,
No.
or they actually read the mainstream media.
and the news gives them what they want.
They get their opinions from their friends, who get their opinions from activist websites.
Probably.
That's
Professors.
what it is.
Yeah.
Someone, we got Graf Fontero saying, "Spin the UFO again."
Yes, done and
Let's
done.
see. Jason Solo says, during the Cold War, Russia infiltrated Western nations and spread communist propaganda groups and cell system insurgency attempts. Antifa is what is left after the Soviet Union collapsed. Ooh, brutal. It's the head got cut off, but the chicken's still running around.
Oh man.
Tom Echo says, cracked 30K viewers.
Woo.
The more people that tune into you guys, the less people there are out there believing the mainstream media and their fake news.
Correct.
If we all tell just 2 other people, that's the best pyramid scheme ever.
It is.
Please do.
Yes. It's
Please
a
do.
pyramid scheme that doesn't pay. You get nothing, but
You get to hang
to-
out with us.
You get to warm your hearts knowing that you've helped the show.
We are the best people to hang out
Warm
with.
hearts is the best thing a person can. How about a child's laughter?
That's pretty good.
Give us a child's laughter.
I just heard that. I actually retweeted this. Someone sent me a video of me playing last Friday my song, and there was a little girl dancing to it,
Oh,
giggling.
how cute.
There you go.
It was
Oh my
great. Warmed my heart.
I love it.
You received a child's laughter.
Yep.
It's beautiful.
It was great.
Jav Tandez says, haha, Big Iron goes 1 and 19 more. Tom T. Travis says, I like turtles. I think turtles are great too.
They're cool.
Deplorable Pirate Captain Gunbeard says, Dear Antifa, it's not waterboarding if they used diesel. Yikes. K98 Killer says, capitalism does not create monopolies. Government regulation does. The EPA before Trump was pumping out thousands of new regulations each year. Compliance cost billions. Small shops can't afford it. I agree with that. But over time, monopolies form because companies are buying each other out.
Like big
But yes,
tech.
government regulation can play into that too. Let's see. I can't read this name because it's a bunch of numbers. Just wanted to say congrats on 31K people tuning in right now, and hope y'all stay safe. Love you guys and gal.
Woohoo,
You know,
thanks.
YouTube's been broken for a couple weeks. It's not the browser. It just all the stats are busted, and I have no idea what the stats are. So
All of them.
we just
Yeah.
do what we can. We just read your chats and we hang out. Demonovich says Steven Crowder live streamed CNN on Saturday and kept pointing out the fact that the protesters screaming BLM were mostly white male, white, while the cops were mostly black. Yeah, that's the way it is. Abe says, if these are white supremacists, they would be disavowed by George Lincoln Rockwell. Broger says, as a person who isn't all that political when I was growing up in the 90s and early 2000s, I never heard anything about race. I joined the military, no race issue. When did all this start? It started becoming more and more prominent around Occupy Wall Street. When these people, I think part of it has to do with, I was raised being told certain things were bad. And the previous generation, the younger people, were told a lot of the same things. And so it's like each generation tells them it's bad. And so the way I've described it before is they're like an immune system run amok. It's an autoimmune disorder attacking healthy cells. They think they see racism everywhere, so they're screeching and attacking, but they're not. Anti-racism was great when we had serious racism problems. Now we have racism problems, but it's very, very mute relative to the past 50 years.
Yeah.
But they're still going crazy and expanding and attacking like crazy, so it just becomes riots. Josh says, hey guys, Canadian here. I'm seeing some freaky posts on Facebook. One man I have worked with, who is generally a nice guy, posted photos of D-Day ally soldiers, and he was essentially comparing them to modern-day Antifa. Could you imagine what those World War II soldiers believed back then about, like white people and gay marriage and interracial marriage? Because that wasn't legal until I think like 1969. Yeah, so I think it's funny that they would like to compare the World War II soldiers to Antifa. Absolutely not. These Antifa people have thin arms. Have you see the video of the Proud Boy winding up and then boom? It's like, dude, these people do not have, they're just like, it's what I was saying before, man. They're like the left-wing version of incel, basement dweller, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
They don't go out. They don't do anything. They're just weirdos on the internet.
Yep.
David, thanks for becoming a member.
Thank you.
Bo Sutherland, thanks for the super chat. Kale McKee, thanks for the super chat. Corny says, roof with Tim while chugging down super male vitality. Yes. Or BioTrust, collagen. That's not an endorsement either. I mean, I do have the ads for my channel because I actually do have it. It's great. Griffin Game says, demonstration in JCMO right now. Random bricks found. Setup. Hope it stays peaceful. These activists, like the real ones, they gotta get rid of these bricks somehow. I don't know what you do, man. It's a setup. Zachary Johnson says, would any of you use force to protect your property? Property? That's a good question. What do you think?
I guess. Yeah. Why? If it came to that.
Well, hold on. He just said force. He didn't say lethal force. So
Okay.
On the question of using force to defend property, 100%. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It depends on how much force you're talking about and how much property we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
If someone was running away with my TV or computer, I would not use force. I'd be like, oh, man. And I think that's even the legal precedent too. Like if someone's running away, you can't shoot them in the back. If someone's got my TV over my head and they're about to drop it on my face, that's a different question.
Yeah.
That's technically defending the property that is my face. So definitely.
Or your life.
It's your person.
No,
yeah.
I'm kidding. Yeah. So to varying degrees, the answer is yes. But look, man, I'm not a fan of injuring or killing somebody, especially over a possession. I'd be upset about it. I would use force, not guns, if it was like a small piece of property or something. Hey, get out of here. There's a cat.
He's here to drink the
He's here
water.
to steal my water.
Yeah, there's
Here
not
he
enough
comes.
water.
The cat's on the table. We like it when the cat's on the table, so we let him do it.
Yeah, I don't
He makes
know.
the show. Is he gonna sit down?
He's gonna sit
He's
down.
just gonna sit
front
right
and
here.
Center.
All right.
It's the
There's a
first
cat.
time he's ever
He's
done
like,
that.
I heard there was people here.
There
All
are
right.
many people here.
People watching.
Welcome.
Moonfire Arts has been watching you since Malma. Take this money and enjoy some beanie wax. These cat's trying to steal my water. It's my water. I have to drink this.
He's gonna go to it.
Well, just don't step on the keyboard. America Float says new vids from here he goes. Protests, riots in Grand Rapids on this my channel. Much love, Tim. Tom on Twitter constantly responding to you. You're taking it away from him?
Oh, I'm just trying to lead him this way and then spin him around so they don't have to deal with the
Kitty butthole.
cat butt.
Yep.
Oh, he's just gonna
Tom-
sit. There we go. All right.
He's going to sit. Tom Echo says, Chauvin equals FBI, Umbrella Men equals FBI are anti-cop and hate Trump. The Phoebes are actively assisting these riots. They started them. This will not end as long as they are also being part of investigating the terrorists. I don't really believe that, to be honest. I mean, I'm sure there's some bad people in various areas. You can't drink it, dude. You can't fit your face in there.
He's batting it with his paw now.
He tried.
He's a good kitty. Michael says, hey, Tim, I just wanted to thank you for all your hard work. I was in a pretty bad echo chamber, and finding your videos helped me open up to other opinions. Love you guys. Keep it up. Hey, great. Glad to
Awesome.
hear it. Appreciate it. Oh, he's going to knock the UFO over now, isn't he? No, he's leaving.
Don't jinx it.
All right, come
Chief
this
Red
way.
Star says, in Minneapolis, the Klan are driving around on back roads, apparently killing black people and throwing them in lakes.
What?
What?
That's
While the
crazy.
Black Panthers are strapped up and ready. I don't know if I believe that.
I
I'm
gotta
going to
read
need some
about
sources on that one.
Yeah.
Did he just move the mouse?
He did.
He's
Yes.
gonna move the mouse.
No, he's gone.
Alex Oakenshield says, hey guys, I'm from Europe, and we're seeing weird news about Trump being exposed by Anonymous for child abuse accounts. What's up with that? Any fact check on it? I haven't seen anything.
haven't seen
yeah.
much.
I haven't heard
Yeah.
it. No.
Let's see. Pie Dye Ice says, I was driving through Center City, Philadelphia today and noticed all the white kids wearing black getting ready to do battle with all the racist black cops in Philly. The irony.
Yeah.
Great show, y'all. Isn't it funny how that works in
So
Philly?
weird.
Isn't that funny? Henry Ezelin says, New Hampshire, better than Syracuse. Our motto up here is live free or die. And many of us take that to heart. There's always plenty of room for the bug out van up here, guys. We're like the original Texas. Tell Joe. Yeah, but how is the internet? Because when I was originally looking at places, I did look up there and I couldn't find good internet. That was a problem. Harry Batensky says, glad you are talking about SpaceX. I have pulled out a pistol that I had locked in a safe for years and loaded all 6 magazines. It hasn't been this bad since Rodney King. Stay safe. It's worse. Rodney King was LA. Now it's all across the country. Steve says, got threatened at my new job. Liquor store in the hood. Saturday, because my balding haircut high and tight looks like cop military. Marchers came down community protected store. Loaded concealed carry since. Stay safe, man.
Wow, dude.
Yep.
David Duncan says these riots aren't about racism and police brutality, so I'm not sure it's a white supremacist wet dream. It's a progressive wet dream because violence is the favorite tool of the left. God bless you. Appreciate it.
That's what I was thinking.
Flufasa says, everyone is wrong on both sides, but what bothers me is people want all cops to have accountability for one guy, but don't turn in criminals or violent gangs in their own communities. Snitches get stitches. Exactly. I've been saying that for a decade. They claim they want accountability, but they refuse to turn in their own. They don't want accountability. They want power. Jar of Awesome says something more lighthearted to ponder. What if humans invent space travel and we just get in the way of all the aliens like deer. Oh
no.
Or like turtles crossing a highway.
No.
And we're just like in this little rocket going, and then they're going zoop, 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 and they crash into us and we get run over. We get vaporized instantly. Jeff Caldwell says, I'm a trucker and I'm kind of scared that a mob is going to pull me out of my truck. Truckers might start avoiding big cities if the roads aren't protected more closely. Defend the supply lines.
I heard that. That's scary.
Take care of yourself first and foremost, man. If there are people blocking the road, just don't do the job. Like, don't take it. Vosh says, you should get Cassandra on the show so we can simp for her. She is always welcome, but she lives in a different place. A Wild Deku says, these people have ruined relations in the United States. I don't understand this horrible idea of beating and destroying the lives of the innocent. How can I see the left as anything but my enemy now? How can I talk to them? And I have friends who are like, if you try and call it the fact that innocent business owners are being victimized, you're part of the problem, they say. So what am I supposed to say? All right, yeah, great. Let all the innocent people suffer? That's ridiculous. 20-something Drifter says, hey, Tim and Co. Been following you guys for a while. Great work all around. Any update on the relocation out of Jersey? Oh, we're working on it. We're working on it fast. So you go as fast as you can go, man. Slane says, Tim, achieve world peace by removing the beanie once. Love the work, guys. Yeah, maybe. Vosh says, roof Korean equals the most American thing you can be. Blue Dragon, I finally made a Twitter to follow you guys. Definitely a crazy time to join Twitter. We need more roof Koreans. I'll call my family. Magic Man says, communist, Antifa, white supremacist, nihilism, fascism, Nazism, Islamist, Satanist? What is that? Etc. All these related groups are all following the same umbrella of ideological structure, which is chaos and destruction. K2010 says, question for Lydia, if she's willing to answer. How did you meet the guys and become part of the team?
Ooh. Well, there we go. I met Tim on Instagram. He followed my Instagram account, and I have a bunch of memes, and he liked my memes. And then we became friends, and I sent him articles, and here we are. And he convinced me to move out here.
You commented on something.
Yeah.
We talked a bit. Then I followed you. Then you posted a bunch of spicy memes.
Yes.
And then I messaged you about them. And then you sent me story ideas.
Yeah.
And then I was like, hey.
Wait a second.
You should work on the show and help us with stories. And
I could get her to give me
cameras and
stories.
stuff.
Yeah, it was great. It's a great story.
Issa May says, Madman Trump walking to church drove media crazy. Yup. He did. There's the motorcycle
friend.
Again. MI60 says, honestly, I think the large C issue right now is groupthink. Thank you for all the great content. Be an individual. Absolutely. Ants on my wiener says, sent to Adam. Did you see the video of the poor kid in a Trump shirt in Austin who was trying to show solidarity with the protesters and all of them spit and threw bottles at him, mostly hipster women?
Oh, man.
I haven't seen that, no. I'm sure I'll stumble upon it, though.
Let's see. Where are we at? Dan says, thoughts on police held to a higher... Is there a one for this? Did I miss it? It
might have been deleted.
Oh, that's right.
I hope not.
Yeah.
You would have read the one of two.
Right. Thoughts on police held to a higher standard, perhaps something like the military. The UCMJ has much harsher penalties because of the recognition of the potential for abuse. Yeah.
It's interesting, though, that previous super chat. It's like, I know people, and I'm seeing stories like this where they're like, you know, I'm white. I'm going out to stand with these people because I'm for their cause. And then they get attacked because they're white.
Yep.
It's like, that's also racism. It's like you're perpetuating it.
Well, they don't believe that. So they're creating this idea that they can't be racist by their new definition. That's what it's the craziest thing, man. Mm-hmm. Only white people can be racist, they say.
It's like, so do you want us to stand with you or not? If you're yelling at us, if we're silent, we're your enemy. If you're coming out and standing with us, we're your enemy. It's like,
sounds like racial supremacy.
What can we do? Right.
Yeah. That's why I tell my friends, like, I straight up, I have friends who lightly talked about, you know, certain issues that were like standard liberal issues.
Yeah.
That's fine. Now they're hardcore identitarians, where it's like everything must be about your subservience based on race or whatever. The policies must be implemented. The government must be based upon race. And that's when I'm like, nah, I'm not bending the knee for anybody. Sorry, you're not going to see that. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
The annoying thing about all of this is like what they don't realize with all of the social justice issues they've brought up, like reparations as being a good example. My family wasn't here. Like, man, I come from a mixed family and we're immigrants. So now you're mad at me? Like, what do I have to do with it? That's why it's not justice.
Yep.
You can't get justice by victimizing someone else.
Exactly.
It's like if you walked in the front door and Ian slapped your laptop and shattered it, so you made me pitch in to pay for it. I'm like, I had nothing to do with it. I wasn't even here.
Yep.
That makes no sense, man. They don't want justice. They want stuff.
Revenge.
Tom Echo says Antifa are nothing more than useful idiots. They are, and they're really young, and they have no idea how politics works. They have no idea how economics works. Frogger Pirate says, I have a buddy who went to school with Andrew Mercado, has been going to Minneapolis every day since Tuesday, documenting what's happening, taking an unbiased report. Sunday, he was at 38th in Chicago showing the peaceful protest. Cool. Jacob Scott says, hey guys, first super chat, love you guys as mostly unbiased news source. Is there a path forward that doesn't end in revolt or police state? How do we regain our country? That I do not know. I really, really don't. I don't think
tuned,
so.
I guess.
I don't think the train can go backwards. I think, Henry Aslan says, Adam, give me some low-key finger guns.
Those are not low key, but they are great.
Michael Smith says,
I don't do low-key finger guns. That's what you get.
Michael Smith says, far left fight for bigger government and protest that government. Irony? Yup.
A little weird.
Brett Blankenship, thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Darth Zaketh says, you are a heretic, Tim. You are not a prophet of the one true soy Jesus.
That's
There you
right.
go. Thanks for the Kane Bizarro. Thanks for the link to the webcam. I can't click it, though, unfortunately. Aunt Zella says, handsome Tim, Candace Owens posted a video of an African-American girl confronting Antifa looking white thugs vandalizing at the protest. MSNBC is posting short videos and pictures of the zombie movie World War Z and saying it's live from the protest. More fear and lies. I haven't been able to see that. I've only seen like memes.
Yeah, I see it floating around. I don't know
if it's true, though.
confirmed or not.
Yeah.
Nova says, keep it the great work. DC native here. What do you think of the international protests? I think it's silly, man. It's weird when Americans protest for other countries. Because what are you going to do? What's the protest for? Are you going to what's supposed to happen?
Yeah,
Britain is protesting for this?
Well,
I guess for themselves?
no, it's to bring more awareness. Or at least that's what they're.
Do they want sanctions on us? Like force other countries to sanction us or something?
I don't know.
Blake Forrest says you should really deep dive into QAnon. His, her, their posts go back to 2017. Pretty much proven to be real, although it's vague most of the time due to OPSEC. I don't know if I believe that, because I remember seeing a bunch of posts about Mueller going to expose some child abuse ring or something that never happened. And there's been a bunch of stories that have popped up that just were not real. D. Watt says, was skating in Minneapolis Thursday. Long story short, tear gas sucks.
Oh, man.
It does. Anthony says, red wave revolution is cringe. Libertarian wave is what we need. Rodney Buse says, it would take a sociopath to attack firefighters trying to put out fires, especially like the situation in Richmond, Virginia, where there was a child in the building. Yeah, man, I saw that. That was nuts.
Sad.
Like Fry says, Adam, don't worry. The military has vegan MREs. There you go.
Oh, nice.
Good call. Thanks, Black Fry.
CSFL says, the day my ex-Peace Corps wife doesn't cancel out my red vote is the day the earth will stand still. Klaatu Barada Nikto. Yep. That's the code to stop the machine from destroying the earth, I believe. Maury, thanks for becoming a member.
Thank you.
Tanner Gordon says, been watching since you went to the Swedish no-go zones. Live near Harrisburg, PA. Haven't had riots since the early 90s. Masked guy tried to pull me off my motorcycle near the Capitol building. Crazy, man. Stay safe. Balian says, that's not the only thing Jimmy said, man. He spewed a blanket statement saying conservatives were behind these thug cops beating people because we're a bunch of moral authority yes men and that we're all effed in the head. Oh, man. It breaks my heart to hear that. Jimmy was always very sane and rational. Very lefty and progressive, but he called out the stuff he needed to call out. Aunt Zella says, all Snohomish County citizens took up their guns and waited the rioters, scared the hell out of them. They left town without causing damage. At Richmond, VA, rioters set fire to a home with a kid inside and blocked firefighters from going inside.
Yep.
UFO.
I'm on it.
UFO.
Redneck Dream says, don't worry, the military MREs do come without meat. I personally avoid them. Yeah, I've got a non-meat one. It's not very good.
Yeah, but you know what? I would bring my own spices.
Food's food.
Yeah, it'd make it happen.
Yeah,
to survive.
You're not eating it because you're like a luxury meal, you know?
Yeah, it's funny. A lot of people like to picture vegans just like eating just like a piece of broccoli. No, nothing else, just broccoli. And it's like, no, we use spices.
I knew
We spice everything to make it good.
I knew a guy who would walk around eating raw spinach. Just
I don't mind raw spinach. It's pretty good.
But you know, it makes your teeth feel like hard or dry or whatever.
Yeah, that I don't like.
Grabbing hard raw, I was like, how are you doing that? And he's like, huh? And I'm like, just eating raw spinach out of a bag?
Oh.
That's good.
Spinach is good.
Oh,
Spinach
my
is
goodness.
good, but like...
I learned it from Popeye, man.
Yeah, you gotta get
Makes
strong,
your forearms
man.
huge.
Yeah, I don't know
Yep.
about that. We don't want that.
John Kirsch, thanks for the super chat. Bob BQ says, appears that Cloudflare is poisoning NS records for archive sites. Sites like archive.is have incorrect records and Cloudflare refuses to correct them. Weird. Bob BQ says, what's worst is that Firefox users are being impacted by this because they have been rolling out enforced DOH, and this is causing the sites to not resolve DNS over HTTPS. Sean Eason says, good news and bad news, Tim and crew. Good news, my mom and family has had similar experiences to what's currently going on. Bad news, it was during apartheid. Yikes.
Oh
No
my
bueno.
goodness.
Different times.
Jason says, Tim, there's fact check articles, PragerU, etc. Multiple reports and studies showing cops are not biased against blacks these days. It's a media created hoax. You and others need to be talking about this. I understand those fact checks, but it's complicated.
Oh.
There's issues like Bloomberg
Classic.
choosing to enforce in black neighborhoods and then giving a public statement about he's doing it specifically because of their race. So that is like, if he's saying he's doing it, then you got problems. You got get rid of the guy, which they did. But now they have De Blasio. De Blasio's daughter is rioting.
Oh my
You
gosh.
know what, man?
Yeah. What's going on over there?
Ariel says, hey, pool party.
Yes.
Eating Culver's for my lunch, trying to avoid Facebook. Got burnt out this weekend trying to explain that riots are making things worse and being called privileged in return because I'm a straight white male. Isn't that how it goes? Agent Toon says, Lids, told you on Twitter that my brain was picking Blue Monday to listen to. Apparently so was someone's fashion choices. Points at
Indeed.
Tim's shirt.
Blue
Nope.
Monday, indeed.
Yep, Blue Monday.
I love it.
Gotcha.
Know what I'm listening to again after the show ends?
Oh, yeah.
Isaac Madsen says, we finally have encountered a shiny Tim. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have encountered a shiny.
Special.
Yeah. Overdressed as alternative skin Tim. Yep. So the character select screen, someone chose something different.
Yeah.
Student of history says, if you want a good reason to shut down Antifa, look up the time a high-level Italian government official got his knees shut out by Antifa. Also, congrats on 31K. And yes, Demolition Man is BA.
Oh, yeah.
Drew, thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Conan O'Brien. Connor O'Brien. Oh, I read that wrong.
Oh.
Connor
So
O'Brien.
Welcome,
close.
Connor.
Loving the podcast, guys. Quickly became a staple of mine. Tonight could get crazy. Stay safe, everyone. Will do.
Good call.
Attack Ace says, hey, Tim, curious what you think of the chances of these riots coming into other countries from Canada. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so. No. War maybe. Dylan Seal says, Breitbart just announced it. Fort Bragg paratrooper infantry headed to D.C. Yikes. Wow, man.
Paratroopers.
Kinda wanna go.
Ooh, exciting.
Joseph Kasky says, I'm in Aurora, Colorado, and you have no idea how much I rely on your content to stay informed. Also, I've unfriended so many people on social media defending the riots, they just won't see reason. It's crazy to me because I had a friend message me saying, like, you're so slanted, so you the stuff you're posting, you love this violence. And I'm like, these friends of mine are posting saying, go out and support this. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm the one saying stay home. Like, protests are cool, man, but the violence is out of hand. You got to stop it.
Yeah.
The people are crazy. It's weird how the two factions are, hey man, these riots are really bad, you're hurting innocent people, and you are racist. That's it. That's the culture war, huh?
Good stuff.
Disco Freak says riots in Albuquerque. On historic Route 66 downtown last night, people are destroying our history. Talks of more tonight for both protesters and people wanting to stop the protest. Stay safe, y'all. Wolfalt De Leon says, you are witnessing the greatest coordinated disinfo campaign to be launched on the American people. Info warfare, infiltration v. invasion, insurgency, irregular warfare, effort to regain power. Michael Smith says, power hunger cop kills black man and people chant his name. 2 possible racists in the South kill black man and I never hear his name. Weird. Easy E says, I saw Demolition Man over a decade ago, and to this day, I'm not any closer to understanding how someone would use the 3 seashells. It's a good point.
It's a mystery.
Like Fry says, I just got an emergency text. Starting tonight, NYC is under 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. curfew. Spin the UFO.
Okay.
One of the reasons I left New York City. No joke. Drew M says, I can't wait for Trump to declare enough of this. Deploy the rooftop Koreans. Stealth Creation says, forgive me if I misheard you saying you were half Korean, but I feel soon it'll be time to retire the beanie and take up the bandana and unlock the ancestral power of the based roof Korean.
Yes.
It is a power inherent in all of us. It was given to me by my I was going to say my father before him, but actually my mom is Korean,
yeah.
so my dad's side. My dad's German Irish. Paul F says, Tim, first super chat. You're my second opinion on conservative media. Adam, you are awesome. One of my best friends reminds me of you. Awesome. Coolest of all, Lydia, you are my hero. Keep up the good work, my friends.
Oh, thanks.
Very nice. Grant Thompson says, my local social media sphere is filled with people dealing in absolutes. A native majority is in my city, is completely swept up with pro-riot propaganda, and equating police brutality in the same states with our own RCMP relations. Panther says U.S. military and police versus Antifa versus BLM versus Boogaloo. How fun is that? Scores Bar, this is from Pika Warps. Scores Bar GoFundMe is over $1 million.
Yep. We did it, boys.
Yikes. It was at 45K and I was like, this would be nice to
Yes.
help this guy.
Boop.
$1 million. Good for him, man.
Woohoo.
Wow. The Fixer says, I wonder if George Floyd and Derek Chauvin, that killed him, will become the next Franz Ferdinand and Gavrilo Princip. Men only remembered for starting a century's worth of death and destruction.
Oh, I hope
That's
not.
a bummer. Stormtrooper GH1180 says, I've never owned a gun, but seeing how everything is unfolding, I'm genuinely thinking in buying an AR-15, and some of my friends are willing to help me out because they know how to operate one. Combustion says, active protests in Van Nuys. Only slightly looting, but it seems calm for the most part. Nquick says, what are the odds the CCP Gov are connected to this riots and Democrats? Isn't it ironic? The Democratic Congress refused to come back during this crisis. Well, I'll tell you what I find weird.
I was thinking that.
Well,
I think it's a really high chance.
You know what's weird? That apparently the justification for spying on Michael Flynn was that he had told someone in the Obama administration he thought China was a bigger threat than Russia.
Are you kidding?
No, that was on Tucker Carlson reported on that.
Oh my goodness.
All of a
I
sudden,
missed
they're
that.
like spying on him, going after Trump. It's like, uh-oh, going after China. Can't have that.
Yeah.
Think of it. Yeah.
And honestly, the more I see, the more red pill juice I drink, the more I see the Democrats in China are like, they're buddies, yo.
That is really interesting. I hadn't heard that about Michael Flynn.
Watching Hillary talk about, we got to give China a chance. It's like, wait, what?
Say what now?
Yeah, it was a year ago. It's like, so, I mean, I'm sure when she was Secretary of State, it was like, she was definitely in on
sketchy,
some stuff,
yeah.
you know? It's like, come on.
They've been
So now, I mean, they're trying to, it feels like they want a huge divide. They want to bring more people onto the left side to try to beat Trump this fall. I feel like that's a huge part of this. They're just using people's anger for their own ends. That's what I think that's what's going on.
I think it's just short-term gains.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Just for the W this fall.
To have this person message me saying, like, I think the only way this ends is if Trump wins re-election and the Republicans sweep was like, what? You're a Democrat. Not anymore.
Interesting.
Jenna Palmer says, Tim, I'm convinced you are clairvoyant. I am.
Ooh, he's not.
I'm not. I'm not. No, I just play strategy games.
Adam's like, nah.
Play strategy games, man.
Win strategy
What-
prizes?
Win strategy
You're
prizes.
welcome.
Because the game is based on if I do this, then what happens? Oh, these three things. If I do
Right.
that, then then you watch this happen and you know what's going to happen.
Thinking past stage one.
Whoa. Rikusa says slightly offensive coverage of Dallas riots were taken down by YouTube.
Somebody
Is it-
messaged me that. I haven't had a chance to check it out.
Slightly offensive is the name of a
Elijah.
channel. It's Elijah. Yeah, he was covering this stuff. Character Holding says, Adam, Lydia, get out of there. That obviously isn't Tim.
I know. That was what I was thinking.
I know, I've been looking at him differently this whole time.
Little
like,
side eye over
whoa,
here.
that's creepy.
Ah.
Oh man, I was gonna say something. I'm not gonna say it because it's gonna make people angry. No, I'll just say it. I had
Do it.
I had a Scientology guy do that to me. The weird head thing where you're like,
And not look at you.
yeah, just like looking past you.
Yeah, you're looking like over here
I
somewhere.
was like, what are you doing? It's like, were you trying to freak me out on purpose?
And now
It's
he's
working.
adopted
I wonder if it wasn't really a Scientology guy. It was like someone trying to like,
It was a lizard person. Duh.
no, just like trying to freak me out on purpose.
Little do you guys
Yeah.
know, actually, when I walked into the room and sat down, he was wearing a blue beanie. I was
Yeah.
like,
Whoa.
Tim?
Tim?
Tim, is that
And
you?
what
Tim?
happened
Hello?
was I had
And
gotten
he gave me that look.
so
I was like,
well,
I'm out of here.
well, so here's what
Seriously.
happened. I was gonna wear the blue beanie, but then I got a message from the mothership, and
Oh.
I instantly used my sedation ray to shut down the minds of both Lydia and Adam, and then swapped out and took the form of Tim after I killed him and dumped him in the yard.
It was a nice
Yeah, it was
nap.
weird.
I
I
noticed that.
blinked.
Yeah.
I blinked, and he was wearing that beanie. I was like, oh,
Magic.
Super weird.
did I imagine it? Did
Magic.
it
Imagine the whole
really
thing.
happen?
Yeah.
These are the important things we talk about.
So glad y'all are here.
Christian Hoffman says, keep the vids coming. You guys rock. Bill McPherson says, military MPs and infantry are trained in riot control. When I was Marine infantry, way back 99 through 03, we did riot control training, much like the National Guard is. They'll have rules for engagement. Political Alley says, my first time commenting ever on YouTube. Tim, keep being the clear beacon on the hill when the storm of lies swarm us in these dark times, even if we disagree. Appreciate it. Gustavo says, hi, Tim. I work for a conservative campaign in Wisconsin for a state assembly seat. We received our first piece of hate mail. How can I send it to you to read out loud? It's extremely threatening. If you go to timcast.com/donate, okay, timcast.com/donate, at the bottom is a P.O. box. Send whatever you would like. Because it goes to a P.O. box and,
Yeah.
and then we'll, if we get it.
We'll vet it. Yeah, it'll be good.
Augustine Uraib says, here in El Paso, there's been small riots, 200 people maybe. And thankfully, city law enforcement agencies cracked down fast and dispersed everyone within a few hours. I'm talking full force deployment within minutes.
Whoa.
And they dropped the hammer. I like that, drop the hammer in all caps and 3 exclamation points. Excellent. Desert Maid says, I went to the Army surplus store today to add to my bug out kit. And the store was full with kids buying gas masks, shields, helmets, and weapons. One kid even asking for riot supplies. Because they're going out because they're bored, man.
Yeah.
Jeff M says, just like, whatever, we're going to get demonetized, but just like rape isn't about sex, it is about power. It is time to realize that police abuse isn't about race, it's also about power. To fix, we need to discover why some depths have problems and others don't.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I think he's right.
Jack X says, people who know nothing about the culture, war, or politics suddenly jump into the fray and try to shame people onto their side. Makes me want to pull my hair out. Jeb Reed says, I'm in Chicago suburbs. We are armed. We intended to engage the looters with maximum force. They heard we were waiting, skipped our town. We are next to Joliet. Wow, Joliet. That's like Southwest though, man. That's crazy. Nova says, protesters in D.C. at 15th and S. Sayin Pride and Michael Earl, thanks for becoming members.
Thank you.
Drunken Monkey says, greeting Beanbot, Soy Jesus, and lovely Lydia. Song request, Revelation Mother Earth by Black Sabbath. And Detroit's instituted a no-fly zone where Antifa was prevented from entering the city. Yikes, man. Moko Mothman, thanks for the super chat. Mark G says, Tim, are you wearing the blue shirt so you can tear it off when reading your supplement promo, thus saving the black shirt? I'd pay to see, I'd say that with your best Jones impression. Yeah, I would charge the company a ridiculous amount of money for that, and it would be glorious. NOS says, it's funny and scary because the riots came to the armpit of California, Fresno. They looted a Target I know that is a nice area, planning to riot in another high-income area, River Park. Moko Mothman says, the only metric we correlate to an insurrection is the U.S. Civil War. But for a more accurate idea of how a civil war would unfold, look at the breakup of Yugoslavia. Look at the history of the Spanish Civil War. This is why when I tell people about civil war, and the possibility and the likelihood, they say no, and then they think back to the American Civil War, which was actually not a traditional civil war. A civil war is actually when two factions fight for control of one government. In the United States, we had something different. It was when the Union was fracturing and breaking apart. The southern states weren't trying to take control of the Union. They were trying to leave the Union. So we call it the Civil War. It's very different from most other civil wars. You look what happened in Spain, and different pockets were dominated by different ideologies, and then they spread. And it was basically the urban centers versus the rural farmlands. And guess who won? That should be obvious. It wasn't the left.
Yeah.
And then they had, 80 years of military dictatorship.
Good stuff.
Thomas Reynolds says Latin Kings are starting to police the rioters. That's the thing about Chicago, man. I remember being told this by Latin Kings that they're a gang, but they have honor, and they police. I was told the older Latin Kings are very I don't know what the right word is, authoritative but fatherly. Like the younger guys who are right, exactly. The younger guys who get out of line and cause trouble, get disciplined by the older guys who know what's up, know how to make things work.
That's great.
Protect their community, but they're a gang.
That's so weird.
So I'm not surprised to see this.
I'm gonna learn about that.
I'm not surprised at all. Yeah, the look, man, I grew up on the south side of Chicago. We had the gangs all over the place. And the people I met who are Latin Kings, I don't know anything about them. I really don't, other than they were kind of nice to me. That's about it.
Yeah, I've met a few. They've always been cool with me.
Yeah, the other gangs robbed my house.
I mean,
So the other gangs shot at me.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Yeah. I think they're a lot bigger, organized, and they have older people who are chill. And I think for my personal view of them is you realize to choose your battles with age, with experience.
Yep.
And so they're thinking look, man, if we got something good going on, we don't want some dumb kid coming and messing everything up. You got to make sure they don't do stupid things. Otherwise, you could ruin the party for everybody. But I don't really know a lot. I don't even know what they do. Yeah.
Same.
I just hear a lot about gangs and stuff. Stalin of Rivia. I tried to write a message about a certain country possibly becoming the new world power. If this stuff weakens the U.S. enough. Guess what? Message not sent. Edit and try again.
Wow.
Oof. China?
Interesting.
BT, thanks for becoming a member. Kyle Harmon says, at the end of your supplement ad on the Timcast channel, can you add, they're turning the freaking frogs gay? No, I can't. I'll probably get in trouble, actually. Fishing in Colorado. Keep up the good work. I will say, listening, I try to make it so that it's not just like a really boring thing. I try to make it funny, like at least enjoyable. Maury says, Tim, move to southern Utah. Nothing ever happens here. Well, Salt Lake City, right? That's pretty. You got mountains there. Vane Evera says, I need you to spin. I have a need for that UFO spin.
Yes.
I was waiting for
I
it.
couldn't read it.
Come on, I got it.
Oh no, it just jumped another
Okay.
million
All right,
super
all right.
chats.
I think maybe.
Do we
I've
just
spun it.
Yes.
look at this?
It has been done.
You guys, you're super chatting too much.
Too generous. We appreciate you
Literally
too
can't
much.
read it, man. This is.
Oh my gosh, seriously.
I gotta
It's-
be honest.
It's that much.
Dude.
Look, man, when we were like,
Oh my gosh.
when we were, listen, everybody listen.
All
Thank
right.
you.
You guys are awesome.
Thank you all. Seriously.
When we first started and we had like a couple months ago, 3,000.
2000 was
2,500.
our first show, I think.
I
It
was like, I
2,000
think we can
people.
do these super chats. And then we would do a segment, read the super chats and finish.
Yeah.
And then do a segment. Then we got to like 7,000 viewers. And I was like, we're going to start skipping some. Sorry.
Yeah.
Then it was like 15. And I'm like, this is way too fast. I can't.
I mean, there's still 27,000 people here with us, so
That's a lot of
Holy
people,
cow.
man. What are all you people doing?
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're doing it.
they're hanging out with us. What do you mean? What are they doing?
Kidding. It's a
Coolest
joke.
people in town.
We're chill, yo.
So
right.
I guess we'll have to just keep rating because everybody's here. So
Yeah.
you can follow me at Timcast right there, and I'm on Twitter and Instagram, of course.
Yep.
You can follow at Adam Krigler.
There we go. Boom.
There we go.
But this is important.
That's on. Oh, go ahead.
because that's where you're gonna send story ideas, tips,
Yes.
images,
yes.
whatever.
Yeah, I always have a tweet at the beginning of each week, just like new week, new thread. Hit me up. What should we talk about? I mean, you can follow me on Instagram and check out my YouTube channel. Soon, I'm working on setting up a gaming channel. I'm a gamer. I play a lot of games. A lot of people have been asking me to, and I actually had a poll to see which game I was going to play first, and turns out Dark Souls 1 won. So the first Dark Souls game, it just got remastered, so it's actually really beautiful, 60 frames per second now. So it's really awesome. So that's coming soon. Just follow me, and you can find me. It'll be happening soon.
And then
I'm
you can
excited.
also follow
Oh, me. There
Sour
you go.
Patch
Sour
Lids.
Patch Lids. Me.
with a Y,
And I talk to
LYDS.
people.
Because
Yeah.
she posts spicy memes.
That's right.
But you can send Lydia stuff too.
Yeah, by all means.
My thing is just
I like tips.
I don't look at notifications on Twitter because
It's too much.
Oh, it's just people calling me Pim Tool and bald. So I'm just like,
Yeah, this is
I don't get anything constructive out of it.
helpful.
Yeah.
No, I do respond to some people sometimes, but like for the most part, like I pick up my phone and I'm like, I'm mad about this, yeah, and I put my
Yeah.
phone down.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right, I have no idea we're on super chats, but I'm just gonna give everybody a shout out and say thanks for the super chats.
Yep.
Here's one that just came in. I can't. It's gone already.
Oh my gosh.
My gosh.
Yeah, it's gone. Okay.
It's amazing.
Wait. Someone said this. Already lost my donation V card earlier, but still, I would rather be in the Lilat system rather than dealing with all the crap we have here on Earth. Should we talk about SpaceX?
Yeah.
Now, I will tell y'all, we normally
Well, I
only
mean,
go-
I don't have anything pulled up. I have a couple images that we can pull up, but I feel like it deserves a full segment. It's already 10:10. I mean, you know,
Should we save
Yeah.
it for another time?
I think we should
We
save
could
it
do
for
that.
tomorrow. I know we said we'd talk about it. I'm sorry, guys, but
We will.
I'm a big space fan. If you do follow me on Twitter, I'm constantly retweeting NASA, SpaceX, images from space, all sorts of space content. So, you know, you're just gonna get used to that, I guess. So I would like to have a few things pulled up. We kind of decided last minute because we were. Man, I mean, it's been a crazy week, so you know, we really, I would really like to do more than just post a couple pictures, show you guys some pictures. So
This is the craziest time of my life.
This is nuts, dude.
We had
I
a
agree.
we had a multi-month lockdown. Now the lockdown just disappeared overnight.
yeah,
that's
it's gone.
not important anymore,
What's going on?
apparently.
It didn't suit the Democrats what they needed
Yeah,
if it was locked down.
Everybody get out and
no,
party.
but I mean, this is what really bugs me out when I'm constantly talking about Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
But like, what are the Republicans doing right now? Like, like, what has Mitch McConnell done?
Good point. I don't know.
It's the traditional old political nonsense that I don't care about.
Yeah.
What have the Democrats done? Well, data came out showing the lockdown was backfiring, so the Republicans reopened and the Democrats stayed closed.
Yep.
Why?
Science
Dr.
denying.
Fauci said to reopen.
Yep.
He said we can't do this. They ignore it.
Mm-hmm.
What? Then they tell the protesters to come out. I'm like, yeah, my brain's on fire. This is falling out my ear.
Mind blown.
Yeah. Man, could this be the end of the Democratic Party? Like, this is it? Someone said it to me.
Maybe.
That they know that this is their end. The establishment is over.
How do they know this?
So the Republican establishment, the Democratic establishment were very similar. Like they were the same thing. And when Trump won, he basically stripped the Republican establishment and they ran at full speed to the Democrats begging for help, which gave birth to the Never Trumper faction.
Right. Good stuff.
Now the Democratic establishment is being crushed because you have on one side the populist right, then you have the progressive left, and they're panicking. And so everything's just meaningless and makes no sense.
We'll have to reform.
It's the unemployment that fed into all these riots.
Yep.
And they should have reopened a long time ago.
Yep.
Agreed.
And they're encouraging the people to come out to grieve. CNN's defending them. They've lost
peaceful
it.
protests.
What is a regular American supposed to think? Man, I often ask myself, for those that aren't familiar, are we on the crazy side? Are we the crazy ones? Are we the ones who don't really see what it is? And it's true, everyone really hates Trump and the riots are the noble, just people? I don't think so, man.
Nah.
I really don't. Because my friend, like when my friends hit me up saying like, what is happening? Why is this happening? That's when I'm like, yeah, yep. What I think we're seeing is that the old guard is on the way out and they do not want to be.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's
the old
it.
ways.
So
Life isn't the same anymore. We gotta change
Yep.
and adapt.
Yep.
CNN now advocating for the rioters. I'm not kidding. Like literally on Chris Cuomo, that woman's name, I don't remember what her name is, Sarah something. She was not saying the rioters destroying things are bad and wrong. She was saying they're just speaking the language of the unheard.
Uh-huh.
Yep. And I'm like, bro, you're not reporting the news. You're advocating for riots.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Then you see that woman on Twitter who gave instructions on tearing down the Washington Monument.
Yeah. No. Tearing down a false
An obelisk
a fake
masquerading.
Egyptian obelisk.
No.
And then at the end of her thread said, by the way, don't try to take down
Of
the
course.
Washington Monument.
Yep.
This is not about the Washington Monument.
She said how to take down an obelisk.
How they were going to put chains around the Washington Monument, I have no idea.
These people are
This
insane,
is
man.
ambitious.
All right, well, what do you think we should do? Should we just wrap it up then, or what?
I mean, yeah, I
Yeah.
guess there's
We go
there's
for a couple
so
hours.
many.
So let me tell y'all who are hanging out and watching. I'm sorry, man. We've been absolutely slammed by these super chats, but
Yep.
we read through a lot of them, and I've never had this happen before, where YouTube actually erased the super chats.
Yeah.
Too many super chats came in. I'm not kidding. So we get a normal list. It scrolls. We get to the bottom. It loads the next bit, and then it just jumped the whole thing and erased half an hour's worth of super chats. And I'm like, man. But I do appreciate it, and y'all should stick around. Subscribe if you haven't. Hit the like button. Hit the notification bell. Share. Oh, I'm looking at this
Smash the like button.
Smash it.
Correct.
Smash
You
that
must
like
smash
button.
it
We got
once.
12,000 likes. Let's
Wow.
bring it up.
That's the
That's
most
crazy.
we've
Let's
ever
bring it
had.
up.
Thank
like
you,
it.
everyone.
Like
This
this.
is crazy. This show's
what
getting
you're
too
here
big,
for.
man. It's getting too big. It should be bigger. You guys rock.
Thanks, guys.
Share the show if you like it. We're also on iTunes, Spotify, Google, all the other good stuff. We do the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m.
Eastern time.
Eastern time. We will be back tomorrow. And don't forget to follow all of us at Timcast, at Adam Krigler,
Yep.
at Sour
Yeah.
Patch Lids. And I guess we're going to see you guys tomorrow. And we'll probably talk about SpaceX. We'll see, because they haven't actually finished,
We're
right?
definitely going to talk about SpaceX tomorrow.
They've changed the world.
They're up in the ISS right now. It's pretty cool. So
So we'll probably have the completed mission by tomorrow.
yeah, I'm not sure when they're. I'm going to dig into it. So we'll
Word.
see.
We'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out.
Bye, guys.
Have a good night.